God, I give myself away so you can use. Oh God, I give myself away. Oh God, give myself away so you can use. Oh God. Ooh, we are gonna talk today. I'm about to get my mic, and we are gonna get into it. Lord, thank you for today. This is the Andrea Show. It's the Andrea Show. It's the Andrea Show. We gonna talk politics. I'm about to get my mic so you guys can hear me clearly, and so we can all investigate what the hell is going on. Are you kidding me? Are y'all kidding me? And you still want to sit here and say there's still systemic racism? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? At what point in recent times, I'm talking, modern day times, okay? Is it okay to ask a black woman at a freaking interview what she thinks about CRT? She's like, I am a judge. I mean, I don't do that part. See, that's society's part. I'm a judge. I judge, all right? I'm a judge that judges. Like, why she gotta be telling people what she does in her position? Google it. That's why I want to be like, Ketanji, Google it. But what do you feel about the woman? What do you feel about the definition? Google it. Just Google it. I just want her to get some sass in her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know she went to Harvard, okay? Like, get your cup of coffee, because I am lit for this. This is what I'm talking about. This is type of politics that I can't get enough of. Get your tea, get your coffee. What are your thoughts? You can't be kidding me. I cannot believe this. Just Google it. I just want her to get some sass in her. Where is the black girl in her? I mean, even Obama changed his walk at one point. You know what I'm saying? At one point, Obama was like, I just want a bipartisanship. And he was like, hey, you know what? I'm about to be the president of the United States of America because I'm bomb, I'm lit, and I'm it. Like, where's the confidence? Okay, they got her crying. They are triggering her, and they are loving it. Ketanji, hold back them tears. Hold them back, sis. If you got to dip your head back, hold them back. Oh, you got me messed up. I'm telling you, I pray that God and all of his angels just cover this woman with the blood of Jesus. With the blood of Jesus. Because she gonna need it. But y'all better be happy because I got some sleep. And I'm ready for this. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. And I swear to God, if any of you guys come out of the pocket, you're getting blocked. You're getting blocked. At what point is it acceptable to bring a freaking child's book to a freaking job interview talking about, like, Ketanji wrote the dang book? Are you kidding me? And the author of that book created How to Be an Anti-Racist. I have the book. Imbrium, you know his name. You know his name. Imbrium. He wrote the book called How to Be an Anti-Racist. The child's book is How to Be an Anti-Racist. And they're questioning her ability to, judge why the book, it needs to be in place in the freaking first place. Listen, if I had gone to Harvard, I would have been like, last time I checked, race was the protected class. And last time I checked, you shouldn't even bring this up at a freaking job interview. You got me messed up unless I freaking press the square box. You have to ask me if I want to ask these questions. And no, she ain't got to ask them either. I swear to God, you guys got me messed up. When is this stuff going to stop? I mean, could you imagine if the tables would turn and Ketanji was talking about anything past 19 or prior to 1965? I know I'm 36, but y'all got me messed up. What if she was like, can you explain to me what the Confederate flag is? I don't know. I think we all want to know. Like, what the Confederate flag means to you, Republican Party. Oh my God. I just can't. I'm going to let the lines open. Tell me what you think, you guys, because racism is embedded in the culture. Thank you, Robin DiAngelo, Dr. Robin DiAngelo, for letting us know prior to this freaking malarkey that America is still racist again and again and again and again. When are we going to stop this, people? This woman is a judge. She's a judge. She should have to explain to you that. She shouldn't even have to explain to you like her identity politics. I am just ashamed at this point. I mean, is God coming back? Is God coming back? He need to come back. I mean, it's just embarrassing at this point. Get my chair. Get my mic. Yo! What's up, friend?
What are you doing, Buddy Rose?
I'm just drinking a cup of coffee, and I just cannot believe what is going on. What is going on? Put the plane on the ground. Type of stuff.
Well, I got to say, I hadn't watched a whole lot of it because I figured it was going to be like the last two confirmations. But really and truly, she's not getting any more of a pushback than the other two judges got. I mean, the first one, Kavanaugh, hell, they dug into his previous love life back in college. What's that got to do with being a judge?
At the end of the day, in a country with a predominant, I think like 95% of the Congress is a part of one race. I mean, you cannot sit there and to ask this woman about things regarding her race. It's just inappropriate in America. You know, and you know what? If they were asking questions to other potential judges for the position, inappropriate questions, I would hold them to the fire. I don't want them to be held to the fire only with Judge Ketanji, but also any type of interview. Your race is a protected class. Now what you did in your career, that's a whole nother thing. Now, what I can't say is because they've brought in all these irrelevant racial talking points. We should be focusing on why these pedophiles have gotten a lesser sentence. Now that is something we can talk about because there's got to be a reason behind that. That's the only thing that I can see that they asking that would cause some little bit of confusion. She gave lesser, I guess, judgments to people that were pedophiles, and you know that is concerning. But the CRT child's book is not. That's just my opinion.
I'm definitely smelling what you're stepping in, and I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Aloha.
Three-quarters
Aloha.
of the
Aloha,
questions that
no,
they're...
hey.
Just wanted to jump on and show you the weather today.
Thank you. That's it. I'm going home. That's it. Say hi to my sister. She just moved back.
But I just wanted to tell you aloha and jump off.
Oh, thank you. Aloha. Enjoy. Hey, give me spam musubi. Eat one for me.
Have a blessed day. And remember, right. It's musubi, not masubi. Huh?
Nice.
You guys have a blessed day. Aloha.
Aloha. Oh man, that's awesome. You guys know I'm from Hawaii, so I always got to give it up for my piece back home. But listen, what are your thoughts more so than that? Are you okay with the way that I'm just talking about her position. People have tried to make her look uncredible. You know, she was I think she was sworn in by Obama and Biden is the one that endorsed her. Is more than qualified. The fact that people are making her look uncredible, they're making her seem like she's like this president of black concerns.
I mean, it's no surprise that a Democratic Party is going to nominate a judge that aligns with their beliefs. So, yeah, she thinks completely different than Kavanaugh. But if you had a Supreme Court panel that all thought the same, then I mean, you wouldn't. There's no telling what would go through. But I think what they're doing, as far as all these irrelevant questions they're asking her, are just as ridiculous as the questions that got asked to Kavanaugh and Barrett. It's dumb. all they're doing is returning fire from the last two nominations. That's all it is. It nobody is going to seriously sit up there and ask these questions and it matter. They're doing this out of spite. That's all this is spiteful behavior. You know, two wrongs don't make a right. I mean, I'm not surprised by it. I'll put it that way. I'm not surprised about the question she's getting asked.
Ted Cruz was talking about a filibuster for what? Filibusters are so pointless. For what? So people can freaking complain about things that's just going to prolong the end result. I'm just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I really feel like that I felt that we have come a long way as a country, but the more that we allow this to happen, where left versus right is a pillar of our politics, we're never going to be able to get down to the core issue of our issues in our country. Would you refute that?
No, I mean well, look here. If they quit fighting, if they were to quit fighting left versus right, then that means somebody would actually have to go to work and do their damn job. And we'd hate to see that, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we hate to see some kind of bill passed that would actually make some sense?
I'm telling you, you just spit facts right there. That was good. I'm gonna have to. You know what? I'm glad this is being recorded because I hope the whole world hears that. Ain't nobody worried about Judge Brown Jackson with a freaking book. We want to know what she's gonna do to help our country. I'm talking gas prices are freaking ridiculous. It cost me $100 to fill my tank a week now. And I'm a realtor, so I'm freaking always driving, and I don't get paid till you close, and half of you guys don't close. So that means my money's just going down the drain. Like, we need to get towards the core issues of this country. Why are our gas prices so high? Why is systemic racism a topic on public platforms? You know what I'm saying? Why isn't it being addressed? Like, I have so many more issues. Where's our tax dollars going? Why are we pushing it overseas? Why are we keeping our money green here? You know what I'm saying? I don't think that Trump had a bad idea, but it just wasn't inclusive. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an inclusive idea to make America the best that it's ever been. But you got to include everybody. But how are we ever going to get there if we keep making race a freaking pillar of a way to divide us? It's so amazing to me.
Well, don't mistake me for some kind of Trump cult following Fruit Loop, okay? Because that's furthest thing. Now, I like his idea. I like the idea of bringing all our industry back to America and having everything American made, and we keeping our money with us. I like that, and it could work. It could work, but Democrats and Republicans have to be on the same page in order to make something like that work. And you've got just like right now, we have enough in our country right now. We could drill our own oil. But
you're breaking up. Dang it.
A lot of the donors that give money to Democratic campaigns are not going to stand for drilling on American soil. It goes against what their donors believe. So they can't pass a bill lifting regulations, because then guess what? When it comes election time, we ain't gonna have no money in the bank. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's stupid. All these and there's right wing, there's crazy right wing ideas, just like there's crazy left wing ideas. But the fact that we need to get rid of cows because of methane gas and go completely electric, I'm not saying it's impossible to go completely electric, but that's not something you do overnight. That's not something you can do overnight. We're not set up yet.
Can you acknowledge
we don't have the resources
we need to go?
There's not a battery out there that would supply the vehicles that some of us, like myself, use every day to do the travel we need. I can't drive 300 and 400 miles back and forth without having to charge a battery. There's not enough battery posts. There's not enough charging stations out there right now.
Freaking amazing to me. You know, the Keystone Oil situation, the pipeline, it's not in a. Joe Biden got rid of it for many reasons. Okay, but what I like is the fact that he's looking to other recourses. Okay, there's just so many reasons why we don't have it anymore. One, the natives, the original natives of this country, they don't want it. For whatever reason, I'm not Native American. I couldn't tell you. There might have been deals made, deals broken, per usual, and they don't want it, and it's going on their sacred land, right? So it's really rude to me just to hear, you know, people that are not Native American say, "Well, I want it because I need the oil," and completely disregard what Native Americans want. That they don't want it.
Yeah, but Native Americans drive vehicles too. That's why you got to.
Okay, well then
understand some of these ideas. You can't make everybody happy. That's what people need to realize.
Right. But my thing is this: as a negotiator, I am a professional. I'm a professional negotiator, and in my business, somebody has got to come to the table and have a meeting with the minds, right? And work with what needs to be done and compromise. I just see a whole bunch of freaking kids like Ted Cruz wouldn't even let Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson speak. He sees they're talking over her. They're being disrespectful to an honorable judge. Is Ted Cruz a judge?
I mean, it's still on the internet, but like I say, all that was spiteful behavior.
Yeah.
You look at Kavanaugh hearings, and you can see the Democrats did him the exact same way. I think he accused him of cheating on his wife. What's that got to do with being a judge?
Right.
I mean, it's the same behavior that they put Barrett through and they put Kavanaugh through. It's the same thing.
Well, I would hope after they
I'm not saying somebody's got to set the example and be the better person, and I just don't think any of the elected officials we got up there right now are capable of doing that.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Whether you're left or right, I think we can all agree that the way that, you know, our you know, officials in power are acting is less than, what do you call it? When you want to be a good Samaritan, they're not being good Samaritans. They're not even being kind. It's something simple to allow somebody to be able to answer a question, even if the question is stupid, and she doesn't want to freaking answer it. She doesn't want to answer it, Ted. Who does he think he is? I can't stand Ted. I swear to God. But, I can't stand him. The freaking guy.
We all have our list.
Why? Tell me if you love Ted in this conversation. Tell me why. Beckerhead, what's up?
Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
I'm just mind boggled of what's going on. What's been happening?
Flabbergasted. You know, at best, we've got a bunch of clowns on both sides of the political spectrum. Worst case scenario, it's abuse of power, and I'm so sick of it. You know, one of the comments I just posted a minute ago on your feed is that it's ridiculous to me that they can sit around and both sides of the party can get, both sides on the spectrum can get on the same page about some nonsense like daylight savings time. But this is what we're choosing to make a battle. Like, come on, y'all. Subsequently, do you realize that when this goes through, like around Christmas time on the East Coast, it's going to be dark at 8:30 in the morning? That is the dumbest thing in the world.
I definitely don't understand this whole. Like, I didn't even know daylight saving was an issue. I thought the light was. What you gonna do? Change the sun?
Right. It's just sad. You know, it's a sad state of affairs. I am seriously scared for this nation that my kids are going to inherit, that they're walking into. It's a scary time. It's a scary place.
I mean, and you know what I'm thinking? You know, I don't think the kids are watching it like the adults are. But I'm just like, okay, for instance, let's talk about when that lady, I don't have her name on me. I'll have to look it up on my other phone. Why she's asking Honorable Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson about the word or the definition of woman. What's that about?
Exactly.
Like,
How?
she's
Like,
like,
what's the
I'm a
relevance?
judge.
How
She has
does
to keep
that
explaining her
apply?
position.
Yeah. Yep. The questions were just a waste of time. And, really, truly, we've seen quite a few of these nominations lately through Trump's time as well. I have yet to really, truly see any of these hearings go in a direction that makes sense so that we can all actually hear what these people think, where they stand, what they believe. Do their actions align with their words, which for me is the most important thing at the end of the day.
The only thing that I have concerned about, that if you can read through the mess, is the mere fact that she did get lighter sentences to pedophiles, and her answers were, "I don't have the file on me." If I was in the other on a Senate seat, I'd really want to know what would drive her to say that. But she said that she just chooses what the Congress allows her to. They pretty much give her a menu to choose from as far as sentencing, and she chooses what fits, that she judges fits for the crime. I'm just mind boggled.
Is that truly the case though? Like, I legitimately want to know that. Is that really the case here? I would think as a judge, you have the authority and the latitude to make decisions outside of what's recommended. I mean, you're the be all end all.
Right.
That's a legit question.
So I thought that was a legit question, because I mean that's like a Kamala Harris thing, like some people were saying in the comments. Kamala Harris was putting I don't even know if this is actually 100% true, but people say that she put a lot of black people in jail. But really, it was just those times there was a lot of crime going on, and she put, she didn't create the 3 strikes and you're out. That was something done by Clinton, by the Clinton crime bill. So it's difficult, but I'm just amazed. So I'll try to read some of your guys' comments here. I would hire her to manage a Taco Bell. See, why the rudeness? What that is what really stings my spirit. Is the I can't even say it's even hidden racism. I mean, it's just prevalent. It's like out there now. At least here on TikTok. Many of you think she's qualified because of her race and gender. No, that is not true. Go look at her credentials. I'm gonna get my phone right now. And tell you guys, she went to Harvard. She was a judge. Was she a teacher? I mean, she literally is overqualified, comparable to her constituents. Like, why would you say that? As an African American woman, I'm just praying for her, because I'm pissed that she even gave them her tears. And I know why she's crying. She's not crying because she's angry. She's crying because she's passionate. A lot of people confuse black women as being angry, but when we get passionate, we feel overwhelmed with emotions. We've been through a lot just as a race and as a gender. Even white women have been through a lot, just as women in this country with all these men. I mean, let's put race aside. We can't negate the fact that men are dominating every institution in this country. Yep. The way these men are talking to her with their misogynistic banters and rants and rhetoric, it can be a little overwhelming as a woman, no?
It totally is. I mean, on every level. This may be a little off topic, but it's relevant to what we were just talking about with men and women. A friend of mine, the company I used to work for, had an administrator and training program where you could go through this training, and at the end of it, seat for your license to become an administrator. Flat salary, everybody got the same amount in training, but as you went out into other buildings, you'd bid for openings as they came open. So she bid for this building that was coming open. The guy that was in that seat before her was moving to a larger building. So you would think that from a salary perspective, they both had similar backgrounds, similar experience, that they'd be on the same page. So she walked in, day one, sits down, gets the office all straightened up. She opens a desk drawer, and homeboy had left one of his pay stubs in that drawer. I don't think it was intentional, but he just stuck it in a drawer. So she opens it up and sees. Tell me why he was making almost $20,000 a year more than her.
Right. But if you mention those facts, when you bring those up, the conservatives will say that you're an extremist and a feminist. But really, these are just things that women go through in our country, and our testimonies, and our feedback needs to be represented by somebody that understands the hypocrisy in all of this.
That's
you
right.
know, at least be gentlemen when you're talking to her. I mean, there is a gap financially when it comes to women getting jobs and our pay. There is not equal pay with men and women.
Nope.
It just hasn't happened yet.
Yep. Agree.
But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Cory
Exactly.
Booker was great. Yes, I just saw him. You know what's the best thing ever is when a man sticks up for a woman. That to me is everything. Cory Booker, I mean, he went off. He really
Yeah, he
got us
did.
back on track to why she's even in a seat to begin with. He was like, "You are deserving. You are qualified." He instilled in her what I feel every man should with every woman. And can I say this? Let's talk about her husband, her white husband, who kissed her on her forehead when she was done. Oh my God.
Yep.
Dr. Umar Johnson can kick rocks with all that freaking banter about having to be with a black man for what? That was a man who simply loved his wife and wanted to be there for her. And the fact that he showed her on her kiss on her forehead, oh, I melted.
Yep.
That was just an amazing to see. Neil, where you at?
Well, question.
Yeah.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
What?
Question for you.
Neil, you keep breaking up. Neil, I want to hear you. Barely. Neil, I'm gonna get you off and bring you back on. Neil's my buddy.
Okay.
I like what he has to say.
Yeah, you know, he has a good way of disagreeing with respectfully.
Yep.
Let's see here. Let's read some comments here. James Mule 1 says, point blank, she isn't qualified, and at this point, it's really questionable how she is as a judge. Okay, so I'm gonna bring out my neck. Listen, I'm the receipt queen. We're gonna talk about her qualifications in a little bit. Neil, come back. Maybe to replace what? And can I just say this? The judge that she's replacing was real old. Why did they let them stay in so long?
Lifetime appointments. I need one of those.
Yeah, you know, right? Like, how do they get a job and like it's just like indefinite?
Yep.
Is it any better now?
Yeah, but we can hear you now. What's going on, Neil?
All right. So, question for y'all. All right. When they asked her what her definition of a woman was, where do you think they were going with that?
Beckerhead, I'll let you answer, but I'm just going to say it was a way to push Republicans. You know, I really think that they reinstate their positions when they bring on this right-wing rhetoric. Okay? Yep. It's a way to divide us and to get Republicans that are not in power seats to vote for them continuously. I really think it was self-driven and selfish. Yeah. Go ahead, Becker. What is your
I really truly think that question was intended to bait her. I think they were looking for something to just say, you know what, not qualified. That's really truly what I think that was. I know that people will see differently than I do on this, and that's okay. But you know, I personally, with that question, did not see the relevance. There's so many other things that could have been asked. I just don't see the relevance there.
How about you, Neil? I mean, did you see relevance in that question?
I think they were trying to pick her brain on her definition because somebody's getting ready to go after the NCAA. And I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to get backlash for it, but I'm going to say it. That man that swam and won the women's competition had no business being in there. That poor young lady that got second place, that she has worked her entire life to be where she was, just to be beat by a man. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with you, Neil.
Neil, I agree with you as well, Neil. I definitely agree with that. I think that was terrible. I really do.
I agree. So you believe that, but what is the point to ask a judge in a position that like what was the point to ask Miss Jackson then?
because
Miss Jackson, if you
Republicans,
nasty.
because I think Republicans, I would say Republicans are probably going to try to use the Supreme Court to reverse the NCAA's rules and the Olympic rules. Men do not belong in women's sports. Some of these women have worked their entire life to be exactly where they're at, and they do not deserve to be beaten by a biological man. I'm sorry.
Okay, but Neil, isn't that a slippery slope? Because, we could say that about our jobs. I'm in real estate. You guys know this. And there was a time where real estate was a woman's position. That's what women did. They got this job helping people find homes because they were home to begin with. And so, it really was created by women and now it's dominated by men. How about the nurse position? Nurses were predominantly women predating back in the day. And now men have taken over that. I mean, it just seems like everything that we do, they can do better.
No, I disagree. I totally disagree because women are. I mean, well, I'll give you an example. Do you know that physically, women are better shooters than men are? I mean,
I
it's
don't like the
proven.
guns. We ain't going there. Neil.
I
Well,
was just going to say, I don't know if I want to spark that one up.
Listen,
I'm,
Neil,
I'm,
but can I say
I'm
this?
just.
But Neil, can I say this, brother? We are better shooters, but guess what? We don't have a domestic issue with the gun. That's a dominated problem with men. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So I just feel like it's a slippery slope to even bring up the subject. But let's talk about right now. I'm looking at her. I'm pretty sure you guys all see this. A lot of TikTok creators are sharing this chart where it says, because why she has to prove her qualifications when the president of the United States of America has said multiple times she is more than qualified for the position. I honestly feel she's only being questioned because she's a black woman, and it's just appalling to me that anybody can even deny that. Okay,
well,
so
I think Biden made that a target though, because he was very candid about the fact that he wanted to appoint a black woman.
Exactly,
I think
because
Biden kind
Joe
of
Biden.
set that up.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I think he set that up. I think his intentions were like, hey, there are qualified black women out there, but he put this in the spotlight in a potentially negative way by making that statement.
I can see
He really did. I agree with you. I
can see your point, but that's called fragility. It's like, God forbid, a president, the only one to have existed, even not even Obama has done what Joe Biden has done, had the audacity to say this black woman, because he knows our history, is more than qualified, and I'm choosing her. And the world is fragile. Because he had the audacity to say, listen, you don't have to say white women are powerful enough for the position. There's already white women in power. Okay? And there's more white women in power than any other race in this country. So you don't even have to mention white people being great at anything. Because they dominate every single institution in this country. They're the dominant race. So the audacity, no offense, is to be. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying society is offended for a white president that people claim is a racist because of the segregation of the busing from the 1960s. Is now saying, I am a changed person and I'm going to have an opportunity in my freaking little bit of life that I have left to make amends to an end of this freaking crap in America. I'm going to start with me today. And I'm going to say that black women can also be in power. And black women can also, he didn't even pick a black men. He said black women. So he's literally hashing out one of the biggest controversies within racial politics in history. That's why I will say this, and I will keep saying this, that President Joe Biden is the best president to have existed. And 20 years from now, 40 years from now, when I'm 80 and 90, I promise you these kids are going to be preaching that. We've never seen anything like this. So guess what? People's reactions, that's necessary because it shows that it's working. So that maybe the next black woman in power, or hell, just trying to get a regular freaking job, people don't question her qualifications.
Well, what do you think would have been the public perception if he would have just said, "I'm going to nominate Judge Jackson."
Which I'm pretty sure that would be great in a non-racist society, but that's just not. We're not there yet.
But
We are
let me ask
not
you this: at what?
there yet.
Who's going to set? Who's going to set the standard? Who's going to be the one to set the standard and stop acknowledging race?
Right. You know
Just
what?
like for example, let me pose this question to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if I was to say, I told my mama, hey, I'm bringing my friend Andrea over for supper tonight. I mean,
honestly, okay, so I'm going through this in my own relationship. There's people in my relationship, his family, that I don't even want to go around anymore because they're racist. But I've been around for 7 years, and I finally said, you know what? I'm done with the communist conversations at dinner time. I'm done with the Blazing Saddles conversation on Christmas Day, and I am pissed that people didn't even give me a heads up. So if Joe Biden didn't say that she was the first black woman, but she is. All he did was state a fact. The society on the right with the rhetoric still would have freaking came at her with the mob. The hyenas would have came either way. But what Joe Biden is saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back her. I'm the president of the United States. And I'm using my power to make change. To not make the word black a stigma. You know how disgusting that is to say that here, when you go out to eat, you can say, I can have Indian food and nobody thinks something of it. Everybody loves Indian food. Everybody loves Chinese food. But God forbid somebody say black food, there's going to be a freaking war going on. You know what I'm saying? So why not make the word that we are, that we didn't even ask to be, really, just another word. She's black, okay, and she's one of the first, I believe, black judges in the Supreme Court to ever have existed. If I'm not correct, am I correct, right? So it's the fragility for me. Instead of the dominant race being offended, why don't we support her? That's going to freaking kill debate. You ever heard that thing? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. If we can get into a place in this country where people's ethnicities aren't offensive, then Houston, we have arrived.
Yeah, totally agree with you there.
I mean, you can call me the N-word all day, and don't you trolls even try it, okay? It don't offend me. I don't know why people are so roughed up about the N-word. It don't do nothing to me, because I don't see myself like that. But if you call me black, I'm not offended. I'm proud to be an African-American. I really don't like calling myself black. I feel like African-American is more appropriate. My ethnicity and nationality, that's about correct. My ethnicity is, I'm black and I'm American. I think that's where you can stop. But if somebody said black girl, I'd be like, yeah, that's me. As long as it's not in a negative notation, what are we frazzled about, But I do hear what you're saying, Neil. Neil, I hear what you're saying. And I think that's the issue in America. It's the mere fact that we're just not there yet. So if every black person said, you know what, and every white person in this country got a new societal contract to create new societal constructs, we don't even mention race. It's like taboo. Like in Japan, they have like a culture where you just don't do it. Then I think we're going to see different America. Because I don't think black people, we don't want to say our race just to get a freaking job. We don't want our race being brought. What does our ethnicity have to do with our job? Joe Biden. I get what you're saying. And white people feel like, hey, listen, this is causing something that doesn't need to be done. Like, this isn't the 1960s. Like, why are we even bringing up race? So how can we get there? I don't know, Neil. If I had that question, I'd be a millionaire.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
but you're not
right
wrong, Neil. You're absolutely not wrong.
And I ask myself this all the time, like, what I don't know if it's some sort of an identification thing, and this is bringing up the not necessarily guns, but just when you buy a gun, you have to fill out the form. You have to go through all the steps: name, address, social security number, height, weight, ethnicity, where you from, where you born.
Neil, we about to go into the gun debate. You know,
No, this is just the paperwork. We're not actually. I don't want to talk about the pow-pows. I'm just talking about the paperwork. And I don't understand why any of that's relevant. Name, address, social security number. We need to know who we're selling this thing to. But why is the why
Sorry,
would
it's
be
just if you don't
where you're
know why
born,
it's
what city you were
important,
born in, or
I don't,
anything
I
like
don't
that?
think you're paying
Hey,
attention.
But listen, you know how I am about the guns. We got to know who's got these guns. Okay, we need to trace these guns. So I actually like that they asked a lot of information. Ask all the questions pertaining to the gun because everybody's popping off. To Lovely Livy, what's going on?
Yes, you said it perfectly. Thank you. I'm well. How are you this evening or tonight or whatever?
I'm just. This is the part of politics that I feel is entertaining. Like it's just real juicy right now. Like, where's your tea
Indeed.
at? Like, where are you with all this? Are you watching? What these questions? How do you feel? I mean, you look like you're African American. I don't want to assume. Like, how do you feel as even a woman in this country? I mean, they brought her to tears.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I want to say you have a ridiculous amount of trolls in here. Like
That
a
listen,
ridiculous amount.
that's just comes with my. I'm so
Right.
sorry.
No, you're good. It's
Trolls
just
welcome her, please. You just gotta
right.
ignore them. That's
At
all.
least say hi, y'all. Dang.
You know what I'm
Um,
saying? And this is what Ketanji should have, Miss Ketanji, Miss Brown, Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, should have did.
but
She should have just
tell
let the
them.
trolls ask her the questions. I just hate that she cried. I was like, God, that was your power, and you gave it to them.
It's hard not to though when you know, I mean, she was already ready for a certain amount of criticism just for the fact that she's a black woman in America. And I know that there are people who will be like, "Oh, why is that a thing? Why should that be a thing?" You're right. Why is it a thing? Why should it be a thing? Absolutely. That's a great question. And I'm going to have to follow that question up with a question. Why is that?
Right,
You feel what I'm saying? Like it's not something that we're making up. It's not something that we just feel like, oh well, I woke up today. Let's find out what racist things are gonna happen to me this morning. Like, dude,
right.
that is not how we wake up. That is
Yeah,
not how we wake up in the morning. We don't even care until all of a sudden, out of nowhere, poof,
right.
here it shows up.
Um,
So she was already prepared in some way, but
right. And
she wasn't
didn't she try
prepared
this? Like,
for
I think this was like her third time, though.
right. But I mean, like we all know. I mean, for God's sake, who has not watched a Seth MacFarlane episode of Family Guy? It is literally a farce to get into the Supreme Court justice. You only usually, mostly of the time, and most people here know it, need to only know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody to become a part of the. She has been a judge for 8 years plus, sh-
And she was
but she
appointed by Obama. And I keep telling people this. People keep talking about her qualifications. I hope you guys can see this. I
right.
mean,
That's what
she
I don't
is
understand.
overqualified. Let's just see here. So there's Jackson, Thomas, Breyer, Roberts, Alito, Sotomayor, Kagan, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. Okay, so her education, public high school, she did that. Ivy League law school, she did that. Supreme Court clerking, she did that. Public defender, she did that. Sentencing commission, she did that. District judge, she did that. And Court of Appeals judge, she did that. And
And
if you
so
look at everyone else, they have missing boxes.
the
There's not
the
one
bare minimum,
box.
the bare
Well, she has
minimum.
a little bit of a no. She didn't miss not one box.
Absolutely. So to Neil Mullis, I think I know where you stand. But honey, the answer to your question, that's why. Because she has all of her boxes checked. And she is still under scrutiny for ridiculous, asinine questions that no one else would have gotten even asked these stupid questions.
Right,
So I think you wanted to know, like, oh well, are they really getting on her because she's black? Aren't they really just trying to delve deep and make certain that she's the qualified woman? If I truly thought that, we wouldn't be here right now.
right. As if black people just support black people because they're black. I mean, it
Right?
just kind of
No.
repulsive to me. We don't. Half of us don't. Majority of us don't really support Candace Owens and
Are you
racist white
kidding?
people.
No, what I said what I said was, I don't think there's any relevance to any of the questions that they're asking her.
Yeah.
I think they're
Oh,
asking her these
okay.
questions out of spite because of what
You know, we're breaking up again.
they've got to know there's no relevance to any of these questions. They're putting on
Yeah.
a show
None.
just like a show was put on with Captain Barrett. All this is return fire. That's all it is. It's a show.
Yeah.
It's a circus. That's all.
Yeah. I have to agree.
He asked this question. I'm gonna have to.
But you know what? Don't ask brown people of this country why we are leftists, because it is just prevalent that over and over and over again, Republicans are bringing up racial language in irrelevant circumstances.
I'm not leftist or rightist. I'm trashist, and the government is trash, and they don't care. None of them
So
care
you're just
about
a
none of
quick
us.
rebel.
And
But how do you feel about that? Because, you know, our ancestors fought so hard for us to be able to vote.
I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. What
You got the dogs. Your dogs are like, you better vote. Vote.
is that? What it is? They just went off. Oh man,
Okay,
I'm
so I
so
want to
sorry.
read
Are
this
you
real
guys?
quick. I want a dog so bad. I want a dog so
Do
bad.
you? Do
Actually,
you?
Dante and me are arguing because he only wants a dog called a Basenji. This thing is ugly as I don't know what.
Not
Anybody
ugly,
want
but
no ugly
Basenjis are
dog?
cute.
Have you ever
You
seen
ain't
a
right for
Basenji?
that.
I'm gonna show you guys a picture of this ugly
Yes, I
dog.
have. They're
Oh,
cute.
oh.
They're not
I like, out of
ugly.
all the dogs I could get, I'm 36 years old. My kids are getting older. I can't have no more babies. I just want a little fluffy, cute princess dog I can just take everywhere and show off. He gonna say,
Oh,
because he's hyperallergenic, that he wants me to
it's
get this
nighttime,
Basenji
guys.
dog.
It's
You guys, this
nighttime,
dog
guys.
is, I'm gonna go
I'm
back on
not turning
topic,
the
but this
lights
dog
on
is
to show
ugly.
you the
I don't
dog.
care.
I
Listen, I
think they're
wouldn't say that
cute.
there's such thing as an ugly baby, but there is definitely such thing as an ugly dog. You ever seen a pug?
Good. Yeah.
A pug. I
They're
was fitting to say a pug. I
they're
was fitting
pug
to say
ugly.
a pug.
German shepherds are so freaking cute, but I think they're super allergic, what do you call it, prone. But anyway, but watch you guys got some ugly dogs right now, right sitting next to you, just looking your face with their ugly old eyeballs. Just
Have you ever
all
seen
right.
a dog on
So, so let's read this. So this chick is on my S list. Okay, I mean, I just what her name is. Let me read this. Senator Marsha Blackburn said it was incredibly concerning. It's always a concern that Judge Jackson holds such hostile view and use incredibly listen, y'all, I did not go to law school. Incendiary. Say that
Incendiary.
word.
Incendiary.
Yeah.
Incendiary.
Okay, thank you. Rhetoric against pro-life women. Senator Marsha Blackburn, and I'm reading the New York Times because I find them to be credible. Republican of Tennessee objected to a friend of the court brief that Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson co-signed in 2001 when she was a young associate at a law firm, describing anti-abortion demonstrators as a hostile, noisy crowd of in-your-face protesters. Is she not lying about that?
I'm not entirely. You have to explain exactly what that was.
Listen, I need to be the judge. Let me tell you, because I'm super opinionated. I would have rather said exactly how I felt and walked out of there with dignity instead of taking the high road. I just want to be petty.
Okay, I see where you're coming.
It ain't none of their business. Listen, I got 2 abortions with for my own reasons. It's my right. And I don't regret it because I had a kid right after, and he's freaking alive and well today. You know, the gag that people think if you get an abortion, you can't have more kids. 300,000 eggs, my guys and women. 300,000 eggs is how much eggs a woman can produce in her lifetime. And as she gets older, those eggs become freaking duds. So, I mean, the fact that anybody could be in anyone's face for an embryo, okay, yelling what they should be doing with their body, yet especially if it is a black little boy that's in that body and he dies by freaking gunfire, okay, ain't nobody care. they're talking about all lives matter and police lives matter. Okay? I mean, first
Right.
let's let Black Lives Matter before you talk about our freaking embryos. And then once the kid goes to a system that is systemically against us, now what? So they don't want to get the core issue. They just want to go to us when we're in the freaking crevice of our issues and our problems and have things in our freaking face. I mean, it's kind of amazing to me. So I actually agree with the judge. She said they're hostile, noisy crowd, in your face protesters. I mean, do you agree with her? I know you're not into like government, but too lovely Olivia, are you into pro-life or pro-choice?
So it's interesting that you just brought this up. I am into politics actually.
Oh, okay, good.
But that's actually I bother my friends greatly. But anyway, that's neither here nor
Oh,
there.
good. That's great.
Yeah. So I just recently came off of a live in regards to this conversation where I was pro-life. And I'm not, excuse me, not was. I am pro-life, but I am for women who, if they need to have a safe place to go and get an abortion because of an unwanted pregnancy, then they should have it.
Yeah.
I was recently swayed. I can honestly, that's a very hard thing to do with me, to be honest, to sway me to
Wrong.
another side. I'm usually to the point where I'm like, well, we can just agree to disagree. You have a good day. But on this, you know, but on this note, after hearing some women and putting myself in a place that I've never been essayed. I've never been raped. I've never been in a position where I even thought that I needed to have an abortion.
Good.
So
I'm
I'm over here, but see, that's the thing. I'm over here making a crackpot assumption and a crackpot decision for someone's body that I've never even experienced for myself. In truth, most people don't truly understand something until they've gone through it themselves, even though
right.
they like to believe, oh, yeah, sure, well, if it happened to me, I know I do that. Okay, you can say that because it's never happened to you.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
the
You don't know.
moment,
You don't know.
right, and the moment it's upon you, then all of a sudden all these questions come about. Oh, what should I do? And I've got all these, So now what? Where's your whole ethics situation that seems to be thrown out of the window? So I do understand where people come from when they're saying it is a life lost. So I do believe that if you find out about it early, I mean, if you most women know before 3 months that they're
Right.
pregnant. I mean,
Most
unless
abortions
you
are done
just
within the first trimester, within the first 6 weeks. You
right,
know.
and that makes sense to me. I did hear somewhere that, of course, it does differentiate within different states, but that it can last up to at least 6 months that you can abort the baby, which I think is a little long.
Yeah.
I think that's a little
Yeah,
long.
but a lot of the times when it goes that long, it could be a situation. See, we don't know everybody's case. That's why it's pro-choice. It's a right. It is an option. It is a choice of a woman to make that decision. I mean, domestic violence is a reason why, which is why I had my 2 abortions, and I'm not getting into that. But other women have it because of financial issues. A lot of women that get abortions have a poverty issue. They're worried about taking care of the child. They might have struggled in their life and they don't want to put that child through that. They don't have the support. The lack of support systems is why a woman has, because I know that you get this. You sound very intelligent, but the fact that people with I mean, you just have to have a degree in anything. Okay, and psychology 101 will address all of these issues. I just feel like women and their ovaries should be a protected class, and I believe sex is a protected class. And with sex, there needs to be some sex education in
No,
society.
I I
And
definitely agree about that. I definitely agree.
how much psychological abuse does it? I had 2 abortions because if I didn't do it, that man would have killed me. I assure you, or that baby. And he did it to other women. Actually, found out through the grapevine. So I'm not gonna have a baby where if now that the baby's here, now I'm attached to the freaking dude, and now he can show up at my door, act like he's showing up for the kid, and actually take us out. domestic violence is a huge issue. Again, 57 women die from gun violence. Okay, for you gun lovers, So unless you know a woman's situation, her synopsis, and the reason why she doesn't, are you guys saying that when you go to Plan B, a Parenthood, that they don't counsel you? They do. They have
do
all
counsel.
of the. They have medical professionals that will talk to you, make you sign documents, make sure that you're going to do something that you're not going to regret. It's
Well,
just kind of
some places, like, no offense, but do you stay in the Southeast or the Northeast or the Midwest?
I'm in Connecticut, so they were
You're in the
they were
Northeast.
quick
So
in New York.
it's a lot different for you up there than it is for someone who lives in the Southeast. They may not get the same type of medical attention that you do. I can speak
Horrible.
from actual from
Kind of
my
the
own experiences.
if you're in states that are pro-lifers, yeah, they're probably going to make it difficult for you, which I feel bad for any woman who is looking to make. Listen, my abortion was the best decision of my life. It was the first time in my life where I wasn't selfish. Okay, and if that doesn't make sense to you, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, because I love kids and I could have had a million kids. Okay, but I wasn't going to put a child through an abusive situation. Okay, I didn't even know how to get out of the situation myself in my early 20s. So I leaned onto my faith and I leaned onto the people that love me, and everybody said yeah. And actually, the family of the guy denied the child and didn't want nothing to do with it, and neither did he. So I have this kid that's
I
going through all this that could be a kid. It's not a kid. It's an embryo, and they give you a pill, and you go home, and it comes out like a freaking egg that wasn't cooked. I mean, they think that we're aborting real life babies, and that's just not what is happening. So back to and thank you for
Well, I did
your
have one
quotes.
last input on this because I did hear that some places that it's becoming a legal thing where the family of the person that impregnated you could sue you
Mm.
for aborting said child. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I
Well,
don't like that. Like, what's that about?
well,
Just
you know what? I wouldn't say that that's all the way wrong. Maybe this could be a reform when there is an abortion. If there is a parent that is, or a potential parent, if you will, that's actively in the life, um, if they would need the signature, so you would have an option within X amount of time to come there and sign a document that says you okay it. If you don't okay it, then maybe it would be a little bit harder because you should have protected yourself anyways. And then if that person signed on the document that they did not want the abortion, then they would be 100% responsible for the cost of the child.
okay.
And that might
So
give the girl
I'll
some,
have to fact
if
check
there's no
the
domestic
fact
violence
check.
involved. Huh?
No, I said I'll have to fact check the fact check. I brought that up because that's something I heard through the grapevine, and I thought maybe you could elaborate, which you did. So it sounds like it's something, but it could be something else. So I'm just gonna check that
I
into that as well, because
like
some people are saying in Ohio, Texas, Missouri, places like that, they have that law, which is like, to me, that's totally asinine to me. You don't get to, sue me. You literally, the family had nothing to do with this. So
right,
I'm sorry about, your lost loved one that you're thinking about like that, but
right.
no, not this way.
You know what? I remember calling the dude's family and I said, listen, this guy is freaking hurting me. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail because I have PTSD, but I told him the family. Finally, I realized that this was the second time I got, abusers, they tell you that they love you, they want to have kids with you, they tell you everything that you want to hear. That's what people don't understand is that abusive men know how to freaking get to you. Okay, and I'm not going to get into it, but they said I want nothing to do with this child, and this dude's a freaking.
Oh, whoa. What happened? Is somebody raining?
Or is that okay, that was Neil. Okay, so if somebody wants to
Oh,
come on, Neil, come back. Let's back to Miss Judge, Miss Jackson. Miss Blackburn portrayed Judge Jackson as having attacked pro-life women and said she had advocated against these women's First Amendment right to express their sincerely held views regarding the sanctity of each individual life. Now, I don't know how many times I have to repeat this to the world, but in order to have a life, you must be born. That is where I stand with that. You must be born to have a life. You don't even have a birthday until you were born.
So wait. She's being knocked as a judge on the Supreme Court because I don't know full out, has she actually full out said that she is pro-choice? Is that what's okay? So she's pro-choice, and she's being demonized by Republicans who always demonize those who don't agree with what they say.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, wow. That's a lot. Oh, hi. I didn't even know someone else was on. How are you, dear?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
What's up? What's up, Kay? What's going on?
What's going on? What's going on?
Man, what are your thoughts about what's been going on?
It's what I expected of the party, and it's funny that they asked her questions, and I think Lindsey Graham was going off today about child pornography, and I think I think it was today. I caught bits and pieces of it, but it was so funny that he asked that question. But he failed to ask that question to Donald Trump when he was talking about sexually assaulting women. He failed to ask that question to his colleague in the House of Representatives, Matt Gaetz, who was known for going after young children. He also failed to ask that question to Roy Moore when he put his support behind Roy Moore, when it came out true that Roy Moore actually went after a young individual who was under the age of 18, actually married the woman. So I'm a little confused at their points of views, and they come out of left field with these questions that, as you said, too lovely, that have nothing to do with what is there, what we're doing, and they're robbing us. And let's be real, they're robbing us of knowing who Judge Jackson is.
Yeah. But I have to say this. She said a beautiful statement. When she talked about her parents and her husband and her kids and her life, I just felt like overwhelmed with joy because, I think every Black woman in this country, I don't know if I can't speak for everybody, but you almost can see yourself in her, because we have very similar mannerisms, and you can tell that she's passionate, that she's smart, she's qualified, and here she is being questioned about her integrity, being questioned about her qualifications, knowing damn well it's on paper. Okay, it kind of reminds me of the time where I work for myself now. Okay, run until that. That's the way to do it. But all the times I wanted a job, they called me because they thought I was qualified. They saw my resume, and then when you get to the interview, they're asking you dumb freaking questions that's on paper. It's like, why are you wasting my time? And then at the end of it, they go, well, we have a few more candidates, so we'll call you. And they never call.
Correct.
I say the most outlandish things sometimes because my mouth can be rather sideways. I do apologize. I think she was very smart to cry. I think she was looking for a certain component to empathize with her tears because let's be honest, Black women are supposed to be known as what? Not
Strong.
weak. Not that part, what you just said right there. So it would have been the norm for her to have jutted her chin out, puffed up her chest, and stood to the. No, I think she was a little strategic about this. I think one, I do think that it did hurt her feelings. I mean, not to say that it didn't hurt her feelings, but
So you think
sticks and
that
stones.
she played the role?
I feel there was a little placation here. And I'm going to say this outrightly, and I think that she um did it to a specific audience, and that would be for white men. Um black men aren't going to fall for a Black woman's tears. They've been looking at our tears for years. No offense, Black men, but I'm sorry.
Girl, you would never lie. I swear to God, I love you.
So
Hey,
I'm
listen,
sorry,
run
guys.
until that. That's a whole
I
other
mean,
debate. That is a
so
whole
that,
other debate that we need to have.
right. And that's another day and another time. We'll do it.
But I want to say, what I want to add to this, and I honestly don't think that your opinion was remedial. I think that your perception is something to be considered. But what I do want to add to that is that as an African American woman, I feel like we can't do no right. Like if she
Right.
would have cried, it would have been a problem. If she would have got
Right.
mad, there would have been a problem. If she wasn't opinionated, she would have been a problem. No matter what, they would have found some type of negative notation to add to her
Of
greatness.
course, that's exactly what they do, and honestly, in my opinion, I really think she should have. And now I'm not saying she should have got angry. I'm not saying that, but I think she should have come back and tore them a new one. You know, question them about these issues that they asked. I think it was a Blackburn that asked her, "Can you give me the definition of a woman?"
Yeah.
I'm, I'm
Okay.
like, I'm
Really?
like, what definition do you want? I mean, the Webster Dictionary has one for you. Do you not know? I'm a little confused. You're
Right.
in Congress. Do you not know what the definition of woman? And I mean, I would. I'm a little confused. You asked her that question, but aren't you a woman? Maybe
Right.
she's
That
confused
part.
about herself.
I would
Maybe.
have gave the dictionary definition of it and kept it moving. What I'm saying is, I felt like the tears were irrelevant. Okay, she's a judge. Okay, she was loving telling people about her position. So her position wasn't to be emotional about what was happening. That is concerning. It's like, okay, so are you not able to be under fire, yet you can put other people under the hot seat? You have to be able
Right.
to handle what's coming for her, because she's going to be a representative of this country and a representative of somebody that can move mountains within our communities, especially Black communities. She could make so much change. Why are you crying when our people were shackled? Why are you crying when they kept it moving and went up north in freaking the trenches? Why are you crying when they were whipped and they still worked? Why are you
Cause
crying?
she,
You're
cause she
right.
has to
I'm
play the
African American.
game.
I'm a Black woman, and yes, I am strong. And yes, it's okay for me to be angry for what has happened to me. But what you're not gonna get is my freaking tears, because we have come too far to be crying. Okay? That's how
But
I
we,
I,
feel.
but we've been.
so,
But
but let me ask
I
you
hear
this.
you. I hear
Sorry.
you. No, no, no,
What's
you're
she crying
fine.
for?
You're fine.
She's a
It's just
judge.
I
She's
do
gonna
hear
erase a
you, and I
relationship.
respect.
She's a
Like I
judge. She's
respect
a
everything you're
murderer.
saying.
This woman, she shouldn't be crying. I mean, how much money does she make? She probably makes over $200,000 a year. I'm pretty sure that's the last time I checked. A judge makes about $200,000 a year. And here in Connecticut, a lawyer makes $500 an hour. She is not a victim in this country. And in politics, they have made us a pillar of being a punching bag to be called victims in society. And here you are giving her victim tears. She's feeling the fire on the right, and I didn't like it. I feel
But
like you
so
are
let me,
judging kids are here.
Andrea, let me ask you this though, because I'm,
That's
I'm
how I
I,
feel
I
about
I think that's, but the point you're making is not that she should. I don't. It doesn't matter why she was crying and what she was crying for. It's the fact that she can show compassion, that she can show that she can be empathetic, and I think that. To say that, well, because she's the Black woman and that she shouldn't have, that's the same narrative that people put on Black men, that, oh, we
Exactly.
should cry. If we cry, we're punks and we're wimps. That's what the notion, what you're saying right now. And I think that she can show emotion. Why not?
it. Okay,
She
because it's
needed.
going
I
to be
believe she
fair.
needed to show humanity because
Well,
so many of us look, but listen, so many of us are looked at, and irregardless of what others believe or think, we are still looked at somewhat as being not human. They still work on us in hospitals as if we do
Mhm.
not, show any type of pain or
Right.
sorrow. So in many ways she needs to overly show her humanity. We've already established that we are super women. Black girl magic is true and it exists. It is real.
what I want
Okay?
to tell you
And she's
guys
going
is,
to make it. Go
I hear
ahead.
it, but what I want to tell you is, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. What does that
What?
mean? It means you know the people that are talking to. She knows them. She wasn't born
Exactly.
yesterday. And I've only been doing political commentary on TikTok for 3 years. And I already know the trolls that are already in the comment section. I already know what type of people on the right spewing their right wing rhetoric, what we have to deal with just to be a part of the conversation. And I would never give them what they want. And that is to box us into a victim mentality. They use her tears, they're going to use it against her. That's why they're saying, well, she's so compassionate. I'm just playing red right now. I'm a Republican Black woman. Okay, that's never going to happen. But let's just pretend. If I'm on the right, I'm like, listen, you are so compassionate about questions, but why weren't you compassionate about the kids that were getting molested, and you gave the freaking perpetrators a lesser sentence. Where was the compassion then?
I mean, I hear you. I hear
So
you. I
you know
just
what I'm saying? So they're going to use it against her. I feel so. I believe
they're gonna use. She knows that they're gonna use everything against her. Okay, everything. It doesn't down to what type of shoes she wears during the
Yeah,
day versus what type of shoes she wears at night. They are going to use it
right,
against her. Why
right,
not get some type of sympathy plea? She has to play the game because she knows the type of people that she's dealing with. Because she knows who these ruthless people are. See, we like to watch NCIS and JAG and all that. Oh, I just dated myself.
Right.
Anyway, all that stuff. Anywho, y'all didn't hear those old school shows. But we like to watch those things and we're like, haha, that's that's fun, that's entertainment. That's
Right.
also, I do not doubt things that happen. The Navy SEALs are some badass mugs. Okay. We have
Right.
some
Right. Right.
serious power in this country. We have a situation in this country where one day you're talking to your friend, the next day they go missing. You don't know why. It might not necessarily be just because they decided to get up and go for a pack of cigarettes at the middle of the night.
Right.
right.
Okay, people
You're
go
absolutely
missing. She knows what goes on in this government. She has to tread softly. She has to play their game, even though she knows she has a different agenda. She still has to placate to a white supremacist situation in which she is stuck in.
Right. And can I just say
correct.
this? Thank you for your intellectual point of view. I have to say that a lot of people just think that we've gone so far. Why bring up race? We've gone so far. Why bring up? People have called me a race baiter. Black women have. There's been some women to tell me that as a black woman, I use my people to get likes on TikTok, and that's freaking disgusting to me. The mere fact is, we are not there yet. 50 years ago, once again, Ruby Bridges was that little girl that had to take a test to go into kindergarten. Only 5 kids, black kids, were integrated into a school. She's alive today, alive and well. She's 67
Hmm.
years. We have,
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
we have not come that long from racist America. So
And that's right. That is something I was just talking about on one of my recent videos. I recently did a video about the
let's add
not the
her.
or not the origin of picnic, because
Yeah,
I
add us
know
to the
that the
Right.
origin of picnic comes from France, but what happened at picnics to African Americans in this country.
Right.
I spoke on it in regards to this little. Oh my goodness, my battery's almost dead. Um,
oh,
because somebody decided to do a video inviting all of us Black people to the picnic. And if you
Right.
don't know what they did to us at picnics, well, it's everywhere for you to go research. Take a look. It's in a book. But I mean,
Please
and
do.
the reason
well,
I'm stopping is because
just give us your
a quick
you know
rundown. And the reason
yeah.
I was responding in that manner is because I've done at least 8 videos from the initial video explaining. So I'm like
Okay,
exhausted
so
over it.
everybody,
No, no,
you
I
sound
will
like
though. I
you sound like
don't.
Omarosa. Did you read the book? Well, go read it.
It's like,
I
dude.
love Omarosa because she's a bad bee. Everybody, go to Miss Too Lovely Livy and go watch her videos because I definitely want to know
Right.
what they did.
I
I'm from
just,
Hawaii.
I
You
I'm
don't.
will
a
Wait a
do,
minute.
I
girl
Wait a
will
from.
minute.
give
Wait a
a
minute.
quick
So you
recap.
don't
I
know?
mean,
Listen,
right. You don't know?
not
Okay.
let me just remind people in this country, not all black people are from the same place. Okay, I am
It's
an
cool.
island girl.
Oh,
I
that's
grew up in
true.
Hawaii. Okay, the only picnics we had were on Waikiki Beach, and nobody was in the picnic. We were in the water.
We'll see. Right.
But I know that they used to call it picnic and stuff like that. I'll get into that. But I'll look at your videos and I will educate myself on the subject. But
okay. Cool beans.
I want to know, how is that relevant today though?
So it was a triggering word for me because one, it was something that was told. It wasn't just learned. Once it was told to me, then I went to go and research. So it was something that had been passed down generational as several different conversations that I've had with my grandmother.
Okay.
And
Right.
and what she's spoken with her grandmother, so on and so forth. I came to a point where I started asking other people and noticing that they had similar conversations with their ancestors as well. So I was like, okay, now it's time to start doing some research on it. I went to several different sites. um,
Yeah.
One is like Ferry University in Florida or something like that. And then
Oh, goodness.
it just goes on from there to let you know. So the main thing they talk about online that you can see or go to any library and pick up a book and read it, is the numerous hangings that used to go on
Mm-hmm.
during picnics between 1892 and 1964, which was the end of the end of the civil rights movement, and excuse me, the
Mhm.
end of
Right.
Jim Crow. So yeah, so between the 19th and 20th centuries, um, not only happened, but during this time there were still plantations. They did still choose who they did want to work on the plantation. They would also hold barbecues and
Mhm.
at the picnic where they would choose one of your ancestors or mine as a delicacy to eat.
Wow. Well, I know that there's some people in the comment section that are going to ask the question, so I'll ask it for them. Um, you know, I know what happened to our people. It's just horrible. I mean, still what's happening right now, even with Judge Jackson. But there are people who will say, "Well, that didn't happen to you, and it hasn't happened in a long time. How do we
But
move forward?"
it does. Like I
Right.
live
They
in a
do.
state. It still happens. And so I
Mhm.
there's no one who can tell me when I live in a state that if I drive in the wrong city, they have
Preach.
nooses at the very start of their city letting me know right away I'm not welcome here.
Right. And
I
that's
have
your
any
truth.
any any black person who we don't hang ourselves. Period.
Right.
There's too much history there. If we're gonna do it somewhere, we're gonna do it somewhere, some other way.
Right.
Fact.
So
Well,
there's no one.
how do you feel about although all these things have happened to us in black communities, there's a high uptick in high rate of proximity violence pertaining to guns. I know we just met, but I'm a huge advocate. You already know this if you were in the comment section, and definitely TK knows. I'm a oh God, I'm a gun sense activist, and even I can't wrap my head around this as an African American woman. Why we are killing each other like that? That to me don't make sense to me anymore. I think gang violence is a huge issue, and I think that's probably the main reason why there is so much gun. I don't say black on black crime because I listen to you guys, so that's why I say proximity crime. 70% of all crime is done by the same race, so we got to learn and grow.
Yeah, we
But why
do.
all
We
these things
do.
are
We
happening?
do.
Why do we hurt ourselves? Because we really shoot ourselves in the foot. No pun intended. When people are saying, "Well, why do you care about what we can do for you when you don't even do for yourself?"
I do. I don't. I'm gonna let you handle that question real quick, TK, in a minute, because I think you
I
can
gotta go.
elaborate better on that. So put a pin in that, TK. I'm gonna talk about the whole gang violence thing,
Yeah.
where, as far as I'm concerned, most gangs in America, you've got two main black gangs, and that's the Bloods and the Crips. Everybody else is either Hispanic or white. So people need to stop that because a lot of these groups out here are a lot of them, the biker gangs. Hello,
Right.
a lot of those. There's a
There's
few of them
gangs,
that
so
are
I
us, but a
don't
lot of them aren't.
understand why we are
You-
targeted as a race pertaining to gang violence. As you said, there's gangs in every race. So why are we targeted? And
We're
why are
hated. They don't want us here.
Of course they don't.
I mean, they
That's
do
gonna
and
be
they
their
don't.
thing.
well, you
Oh, I
said
just
it
spoke my
best,
brother off.
Miss Two Lovely Livy. Thank you so much for coming by. I'm gonna let my other sis. say what she has to say. And like I said, I don't only like to come here and just talk about my opinion. I've been trying to read to see New York Times, which I feel is a credible source. Why? What's her name? Sarah Beth Manning. Oh no, that's from New York Times. She wrote it. I'm sorry. Senator Marsha Blackburn. Sorry. Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee, the southern region, has the audacity to ask these most remedial questions to Miss Judge Jackson.
Well,
Oh,
it proves her intelligent. Let's put it that way. I mean, that's as far as I mean, we've heard her speak before, and I think her. Um, that's what I'm going to say because I don't want to be rude.
I mean, I really want to know what her politics are. I really want to go look into Miss Senator Marsha Blackburn and
you
see
can
where
look
she.
at her. You can look at her and tell what her
A woman.
politics are.
What'd you say?
You can look at her and tell what her politics are.
You know, you ain't
Right,
never lie.
Very much concerned.
right.
You can just
But
see her bring it to you.
yeah. But what I wanted to join to talk about, I've been watching the whole thing every 1 second. Sorry. Okay, go baby. I'll come right up. I've been watching the like confirmation every day, every hour that it's been on. I first want to make a point that she did not cry because of the questions that she was being asked or how she was being spoken to. When Ketanji was crying, she was crying because Cory Booker treated her like a human being.
Okay.
Right,
He looked at
right.
her in her eyes. He told her how much he loved her. He told her
Okay.
how brown and black boys and girls have a new person to look up to. He told her how important it was that her mother and her father came into a country, made something of themselves, loved this country when the country did not love them back.
Right.
They didn't let the issues of racism and everything jade them.
You're right.
Right.
They didn't take it on. They didn't like take it onto her either. They raised her without it. But she also know the struggles that we face as black people.
Right.
And he just like
100%.
he loved on her in front of everybody, and that's what broke her down. It wasn't
You're
because
right.
she. Yeah, I just want to make sure we,
Yeah.
like.
No. You
And that
100% are correct.
and
I
sorry.
don't even know what
And
to say. but
no, I
look,
think
I feel
that
like
just
as a
shows us
black woman,
that
there's that's beautiful for not only a man but a black man to back a black woman because we haven't
fact.
been seeing that for a long time.
And that's what it came across as is just that this a black man who's standing up for this black woman.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily we don't have to be related, but at the end of the day, you my sister from another mother, and at the end
Yeah.
of the day, I got your back, and that's what I saw. And so I think that we have to, and we had to see that because then that tells us black men that don't really know how to acknowledge our women in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that becomes a way for us um, to bridge that gap finally. Now, it won't change many people's minds. I'm not, but it was a moment. It was a beautiful
Yes.
moment.
Let
Beautiful.
me remind everybody that Miss Judge Jackson is the first black woman nominated for Supreme Court. Okay, this has
Mm-hmm.
never been done before. We are making history, and we got to thank Joe Biden for that, and Obama for also with his part in it. I mean, never. I mean, never has this happened again before. So we are making history, and this is beautiful to see. When I saw her tears, I just don't want people to see our weakness. Okay, even if, like I said, they are going to use everything against her.
Mm-hmm.
If I was on her team, because I've been in court before for my own situation. I won after 5 years of my divorce. I went through tons of attorneys, and the main attorney that won everything that I wanted, he said, "Do not show emotion." I was losing in court. Every time I went into court, I just kind of understood why I wasn't being heard. The minute you are in, as a judge, she should know this. You're not supposed to show emotion. And because that could be manipulation, that could be used against you. Like Kyle Rittenhouse, remember when he cried and did
But
that whole thing?
you also have to take into account that she's not there to be like hired, so to speak. She was nominated. She doesn't need one Republican vote to push her through. Not one. Though look at her tears as her showing that she's human, that she appreciates the love that she's being shown.
Right.
Every question that they threw at her, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton,
All the
the
idiots.
disrespect
Yeah.
that they showed to her, she ate it without making a smug face, without rolling her eyes. She stood up in that. She answered some of those questions. Even the questions that they had, the cases that they had printed out on the board, some of them are so idiotic that they didn't do their research. She was working for a pro bono law firm where it was a group of them. So just because the firm is listed as the people that took over the case, some of these cases she had no dealings with, but they still had them on that board. It wasn't until today that the bar spoke and we were able to find out some of those cases she didn't even have any direct hand in.
Wow.
The big case about the person getting the recommendation was 18 months. They was found with child, p-word pictures. It was a teen. He was a teen himself. So the recommendation was 18 months. She gave him 3 months, but she dang near gave him lifelong probation for his computers to be watched, for everything he does online to be tracked.
Yeah, once
People
you're on the
aren't.
sex offender list, you're on there for life.
Yeah, and
Correct.
people aren't taking into account. They're like, I understand what you're saying. Like when they see some of this stuff, they're just gonna run with it and use it
Yeah.
against her. But people just need to look deeper into this. She's not letting these pedophiles off the leash. She's like giving them sentences within the guidelines.
Yeah, but my thing is, why couldn't she, as a judge, say that what you just said without emotion? Listen, this is just
She
the job. Listen, I don't know what profession you have, but I deal with a lot of attorneys in my profession, and a lot of clients. I deal with the public. I can't imagine showing a house to somebody and then they say they want this house, right? I'm just saying in my position from what I know, because I don't know what it's like to be an attorney. I just know what it's like to work with them. And say somebody has a contract and I have to go with and say I'm the listing agent or the buyer agent or vice versa, and I'm trying to negotiate a price that's going to be in the best interest of my client. I can't imagine crying and be like, "Come on, please," I don't know. Like they don't care. Is what I'm saying.
that's
They
what I
don't
meant.
care. What they want is what they want, and
But that
showing emotion is showing that you're incapable of controlling yourself. I mean, what
but
happens if we need something? Like, what if that happens if we go to war or something with Russia? We need her to be able to make decisions without emotions. I just think she shouldn't have shown her humanity. It's not in her position to show her emotions. She needs to be a judge. She needs to be strong, and she needs to be able to do her job without freaking showing the world where she
okay.
can break.
Remember what I just
Okay,
said
for
about
instance,
we
let me
have
say
to
this. Sorry,
look
God. Let me just
deeper.
say this. What if she's a judge and there's a criminal who is these criminals, criminal minds are very manipulative, and now they know that's her weak spot. All she needs is a black guy to freaking stick up for her, and then all of a sudden you see freaking tear works.
Remember what I said, that we have to look deeper than the headlines. You saw her crying. You have no, like, do you notice that this have been on for 3 days? Some of those tough questions and the yelling that you see was done on the first day or the second day. She cried on the third day, hours apart from those questions. They weren't
Right.
even questioning her
But
nowhere
listen,
near when she had those tears.
I get what you're saying. Like I'm not. You guys have seen me cry when we talk about racism and stuff like that. You can't help but get passionate and emotional. But my thing is, I'm just saying it didn't look good. It didn't look good to me because
And then you said, why didn't she say it like about those cases? She said it. That's why I'm saying people that
like I
did
want
not
yeah
watch
I
it, people that did not watch it are speaking on it and have no idea what they're talking about. She said what she needed to say. She refused a few questions, but she said what she needed to say. She told them what cases that she wasn't on. They spoke over her. She repeated
Right.
it
That's true.
every single time. She did not let that fly by. She did not
right. No,
let them
I
put
know that
those
she spoke
lines on
very
her.
articulately. I did watch it, okay, and I was very proud of her and her daughter. As an African American woman, and I can't imagine having that type of heat on me. I would have been going off. Okay, so Lord knows I couldn't be no judge. I mean, I think
Weak
she
cow.
definitely made her points, but I don't know why you guys can't understand that showing your weakness could be a target for people that don't want you to get where you want to go. Now we know how to trigger you.
But a
So,
I
target for
agree.
who?
And
But a target for
okay,
who?
you gotta know the way people work, okay? People that are Republicans, that are especially people that are asking her about CRT and using racial language in a position that has nothing to do with her job, they don't care about her tears, is what I'm saying. And they don't care about her emotions. They don't care about her being humanity. Hell, I don't think they care about her. Okay, so you don't want to show people your weakness, even if it is in an endearing way. Wait till you're done. Cry later.
so I
That's what I
watched
would
it
say.
too, by the way. And when she cried, there was like no question asked. The dude was complimenting like all of her records. Like black girls are looking up to her. She's gonna be the first black woman, and that is like a lot of. That's like so much information. People go out of town like Ted Cruz. Did you watch that part where he got angry about the SA cases? He got emotional because this is a sensitive topic. And when the guy was bringing up about her history and how she's gonna be like the first black woman, she's gonna be representation in the Supreme Court. Like that
Who?
can be emotional. And I see her saying like she's such a high standard that she shouldn't show emotion. But I think that's
What I
kind
tell you
of
guys is even talking about her emotions is too much. Like you have got to understand in the position as a judge, her position is not to get emotional about the questions
I disagree.
or
By the way,
even answers.
I
Because
kind
that
of
sounds very biased
disagree.
to me. Now suddenly the black guy freaking talks good about her, and now she's all freaking crying. It's just like I just think that it could look as manipulative, and you can't be fragile about what's true. I mean, if I had a judge or an attorney represent me and they started to cry, you know what I'm saying? Stop it
Actually,
all.
that's how you convince people, though. Am I wrong or right? An attorney who cries about a case, that's actually how he convinced the jury.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
there was an attorney. Okay, listen, let me tell you this. There was an attorney during the Kyle Rittenhouse case, which we all watched. This woman talked about this dead man's long, dirty toenails. And guess what? The mother didn't freaking shed a tear, and her son was 6 feet under.
I disagree.
So this
You're
is what
saying
brought her to
Two
tears. Let's
different
talk about this.
different
I know
scenarios.
my
But go
position is
ahead.
political. I've been in the East Coast for a while. Don't judge me. Okay, this is what he said. He said you did not get there because of some. Listen, I'm very proud of her. I'm on her side. I just think that she should have held back a little bit. But this is what she said. This is what he said. Booker, Corey, you did not get there because of some left wing agenda. You didn't get here because of some dark money groups. The New Jersey Democrat told Jackson, referencing some of the Republican attacks on Jackson. You got here how every black woman in America who's gotten anywhere has done. By being like Ginger Rogers, who said, I did everything Fred Astaire did, but backwards in heels. Okay, so he's just saying, like, we have to work 10 times harder, which is freaking true. Doing the same thing that they do, but just, more difficult. Jackson reached for tissue multiple times to wipe her tears during Booker's emotional tribute, which included lots of praise for the judge's record and how she inspired countless black women, which she does. Don't get me wrong.
and can I
Booker's
add?
Right.
comments after several Republican senators and judiciary. I'm just reading what New York Times says, which backs what you said. Committee spent the day tearing into Jackson's record. Many claim she'd been soft on child pornography because she imposed shorter sentences than the federal guidelines recommended. Legal experts have rejected the accusation, saying they lack key context, which is what you guys said, that Jackson's conduct
Right.
was within the stream and that the guidelines are overly severe and outdated. Jackson, a mother of two daughters, defended her record and repeatedly emphasized how serious she considers the crimes and takes her job as a judge seriously. Jackson has also received several endorsements from top law enforcement officials and organizations across the country.
Period. Also, did you see when he mentioned about her parents growing up during segregation and how it was hard for her and her parents to get
Mm-hmm.
into school and
Mm-hmm.
education? So yeah, I mean it's a lot of things. It was never about like a case she was crying over. It was about like her persevering. I can't even say the word, but it
Persevere.
was
Yeah.
But if it was about a case, I would understand with you, but it was not about that.
Okay. So it also says it's not going to stop. They're going to accuse you of this and that, Booker told Jackson, which is what I said. I just don't think she can do any right.
Right.
Literally,
Well,
they're
that's
going
true.
to find every flaw they can come up with, and she's going to be scrutinized for it. But God bless Booker, because there's so many times I've wanted men to stick up for me, especially a black man near me, and they just didn't. So
Right.
a light-skinned black man too, how you doing? Was like, oh no, you don't. And
Right.
I mean, he really did do what I think every black woman would want, is for our brothers to stick up for us. We need to see it more.
Right. I agree.
Well, that's true. I mean, I just said that a second ago. You know, that was a moment for black men across the country to really recognize what that looks like. You know what I mean?
He said, I see my ancestors in yours. Like,
Hmm.
nobody's going to steal that joy. You have earned this spot. You are worthy. You are a great American. Listen, it ain't nothing wrong with what he said. I just think that she should have held her up high and gave him a wink. Yes.
I can see. I think it was kind of campaigning.
I would
If I was being
like,
real with you.
give me more. she doesn't need Booker. What I want to, but why does she need Booker? Let's talk about that. And listen, I'm playing devil's advocate. Okay, I told you guys, I'm never going to be a one-sided person. I don't know why people think I'm just left. Why does she need a man to freaking stick up for her? Why can't she stick up for
I
herself?
think she did.
Why can't she say that?
Yeah,
I
she
can
did a couple
explain, or
times.
he can explain.
Guess what? I worked hard to be here. I think she did, but with more conviction. Why can't she say it with strength? Say, I worked my tail off to be here. I deserve to be here. This is what I've done.
Because that's going to be the angry black
this is what's
woman.
going to be the
Right.
best thing for America, because I am the best for the position. And listen, she still has time to do it, but I want to see the strength in her. I want to see I want to see the anger.
But
That's called
just
angry.
what you're going, but just exactly what you're doing right now, what you're saying she should do, is exactly what you're advocating that she shouldn't have done. Like, she shouldn't have been compassionate. She shouldn't have showed tears. But you're saying, well, she should be angry. But then it comes down to, here's that angry black woman.
Like,
So everything you're saying, you're
what I said repeatedly is that no matter what she does, they're gonna freaking find something wrong with it.
right.
And
So what's the difference that if she cries or has an emotional moment? What's the difference? If they're going to look,
cry? Did
who?
Angela Davis cry when they were talking about the little black girls that got bombed in the churches? It's not really. See, she has a fiduciary duty. Okay, this is not about Judge Jackson. This is about America. This is about every person, not just black women. Okay, this is about us. This is about what is she going to do for America.
They wanted her to cry. When they'll say she's
as a black person, I want to know. Forget her freaking. We know her accolades. We know she's qualified. What is she going to do for us? Is this another black woman that's going to get a position and be quiet and complicit? That's what I want to know. What is she going to do for us? Is she going to bring reparations? Is she going to put money in freaking Chicago? Is she going to help with gun violence?
Can I go to the Booker comment though? Before you start.
Well, we'll put a pin in it, and I'll come back to that one in a second.
Oh, okay. So about the Booker, she actually did need Booker to do that, because one, if you have a lot of Republicans accusing you of misinformation about cases and that, Booker needs to come in and try to persuade some Republican, even though they don't need the Republican vote. It's so important to paint a good picture of her. If Republicans are not going to do that, they're making her to be a predator like Biden when there are two different people. So that is why he came in and said all those things. But yeah, you can go.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just adding to it.
So
I'm just giving my 2 cents with it.
so just because I want to make sure I got that pin in your point of what you said. You said, what is it that she can do, or can she give reparations? Can she? Well, so she made it perfectly clear. Even when they asked a question about, they were like, "Oh, well, she didn't come and make us give us an answer about the expansion of the Supreme Court." Well, again, those are not her areas where she is going to be overseeing those things. You know what I mean? Because that's why we have three branches of the government. They are all worried about the expansion of the Supreme Court when it's their job to make that decision. Why is it my opinion to tell you? I could tell you, yes, my opinion is let's increase the number on the Supreme Court. Or no, that's not my philosophy. but it doesn't matter because I don't have the jurisdiction to say, oh well, yeah, we're gonna expand the courts. So I think that what is she going to do for us? She's going to be there as a representative for things that we want. So she's going to be the voice that's there overseeing judicial laws and things that are coming into play that these Congress people who are passing that affect us. So she's there. She's a part of the judicial branch that will hold that branch of government responsible. So that's what I'm looking for. Somebody to come in who will hold people accountable, whether that's the executive branch, whether that's the legislative branch, or even that whether that's the people that work directly with her who are not understanding where we are coming from. Because if people talk about, oh, well, Clarence Thomas is black, yeah, but Clarence Thomas hates black people, so I'm a little confused.
Right.
Yeah, but
So
listen, she's going to be part of the highest court in this country, the Supreme Court. This is where Black people have been liberated for a lot of things, like interracial marriage. Okay, the Ruffin versus I forget which state. She had to take it to the Supreme Court. All right, so she could marry her husband. She went to jail. Okay, and the Supreme Court outed that, and that's why she could be with her husband today. So let's not make light of her position here as a Supreme Court judge. She has the ability, and she will have the power in the highest court in America to make mountains move justifiably by law. For instance, George Floyd's Policing Act. This thing needs to come back immediately. The Republicans completed it, okay? And it needs to come back because it's going to be a reason why a lot of people, not just Black people, are going to live and not die when they are getting arrested, okay? She might have the ability, if somebody brings it back up, to bring it back and make it an active act. Is that not true?
but so let me make sure I understand you. So you're saying that you want her to be the voice that says, "Oh, well, we need this to happen." Because I just want to make sure it's clear that she is not the person to
a Black person to represent us, okay, with laws that are going to basically save our lives, at least make our lives matter, especially when they're gone. Okay.
Okay.
So, like I said, the George Floyd Policing Act is, for example, something that needs to be brought back. And if it has to be brought back, wouldn't it go to the Supreme Court?
Well, first it has to become a law. So it has to be right. So that's where it has to come. It has to first come as a law, which then if it's something happens in somewhere and then it goes to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is to interpret the law to make a ruling. So until something actually comes before the Supreme Court, they never see it. So when we're talking about bringing back the George Floyd Act or the Policing Act, that has to go before. So that means that those are things like we have to elect senators and House of Representatives that are going to put these things on the table and put these laws into place, because they're the people who we've hired them, because I'm going to say we have hired them to go do a job, and they're not doing their jobs. So that's why we have to put people in place that will handle those particular laws, put those acts and laws into fruition, get the president to sign it, and then it becomes statute. And then if something were to happen and it needed to make its way up through the chain of the courts and system like that, and when it got to her at the Supreme Court level, then she can vote or have an opinion on it. Because at this point, yes, she can get out there and say, yes, I agree with this, or we need to have this, but she's not the person who has to create and make the law. That's just my opinion.
Will she have the connections and ability to make things happen, though?
You say again?
Will she have the power and ability to support these bills, support these laws?
She can seek out. She can seek out and support something. Like, it has to come to her. If that makes sense. Like, if there's a case. Like,
so, for instance, the George Floyd Policing Act, you're saying that she wouldn't have any say in that act that got concluded?
No, because it'll be handled at the lower courts first. The
Right.
lower
Yeah, but
courts will handle it.
have connections with them is what I'm saying.
No, she can't
well,
influence her
she
decision.
can't influence the decisions of other appellate courts or appeals courts or even state supreme courts. That's not her jurisdiction. What's she's supposed to be responsible for anything that comes before her, because again, that just you know what I mean.
A good
So what?
example.
Yeah, go
A good
ahead.
example is the trans athletes. That's being in debate right now because there's already a ruling that allows them. So now when there's going to be a case that sues a state if they ever try to like overturn it, it will go to her because it's already
So she can
existing.
make a difference is what I'm saying.
If it's something existing already, like the George Floyd Act is not, it's a new thing. So she
Right.
wouldn't have any part of it. But if it's something like interracial marriage or like abortion,
Mhm.
yeah, she would.
Right. Even
That's
think
true.
about they've even talked about, for example, she serves on the I can't remember the board she serves on. It's either the Harvard something. It's some sort of board she serves on. There's a case going to come before the Supreme Court this fall. That's a reference.
Oh, affirmative action.
Yes. So she will need to, and I'm not saying she needs to because nobody else seems to do it anyway, but
Right.
she doesn't need to recuse herself. But the idea is that now this case will come before her. She has power to make an opinion, or she can dissent, or she makes an opinion on it and rules on it, votes on it, and that's because that's within her purview. Anything outside of that has nothing to do with her. Now they keep talking about they want her to recuse herself, but again, like I said, nobody else is recusing themselves. So what difference does it make?
Yeah, she
Right.
shouldn't, but hey.
Well, with that said, I nonetheless I support Miss Jackson, Miss Judge, Jackson, and I'm not surprised the treatment that she's getting, but I want to see her get strong now. Okay, so she shot out the tears. She's passionate. She's getting supported by Booker. That's great. But what's next? I don't think I got my answers. I mean, I have questions. What is she going to do as a woman in power, first Black woman to be a part of the Supreme Court? I mean, what is she going to do?
Ooh, if
Need
you're for
people to do something, and to say that she doesn't have power to do anything is bullcrap.
Well, no,
Because
no, no.
Michelle did a lot, and she didn't
We
even
didn't say
have a
that.
position but first lady.
I
We
can
didn't
tell you
say
what
that.
she's
We
gonna
didn't say that
do.
she didn't have power. I'm
I
sorry,
think
Mari.
it kind of did seem like your answers were, well, it's not in her position to do those things. Let me
No,
tell you something.
so
I don't have no position in politics, but you guys see me here yelling to
Not
the
in a
mountaintops
little.
that we gotta stop killing each other. We can all make a difference. So what is she gonna do just as an American? Who gives a damn about her freaking position? The fact that she even has like the whole world stopped and looking at her. What is she gonna say?
Wait.
What is she
no,
going to do?
we're not saying that
What
she can't do anything.
of America?
We're saying that she can't. If she's doing those things, she really can't do them as an associate justice of the Supreme Court, because then that shows that she's putting her thumb on the scale. Now she wants to be like former Justice Ginsburg, and where Justice Ginsburg was
Oh,
in the
black.
community, But I
Sorry.
think that
I'll come
go ahead.
back, sis. I was just trying to let somebody else go because I don't want to be here all day. Go ahead.
Oh,
TK, what were you saying?
so yeah, so I mean, if that's her platform. She wants to do that. She wants to get it, but she shouldn't do things that are going to weigh the scale as a Supreme Court justice, if that makes sense. But that I'm not saying that she shouldn't get out there and promote that. We should have the George Floyd Policing Act. I'm not saying that she shouldn't do those things. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Like, as an African American woman, I'm just getting sick and tired, and this is why I am becoming more center. And they do say that people in politics, just in general, as they get older, they do kind of become more conservative. I have become more conservative because even Ice Cube. I remember being a leftist in the 2020, being upset about the BLM, because obviously I want Black men to stop being killed disproportionately, even still to this day. And it was so upsetting. I was so emotional, but I didn't even get to focus what Ice Cube was talking about because I was so upset that he even had the audacity to challenge the left. He was like saying, we need to listen to both sides. We need to know, what are you going to do? We are so tired of these filibusters. We are tired of being the pillar of the reason why somebody gets a votes, left or right. We need things changed. I mean, I always had a dream about traveling. I'm from an island. I'm from Hawaii. And so I always dreamed about traveling the states. And it's just like, I can't even go to Chicago because they're making this narrative that we're killing each other. There's gunshots everywhere. It's just like, it's kind of amazing to me. What are we going to do with people in power? Because white people aren't going to fix our stuff. They are not trying to fix the streets of Chicago or Baltimore, Maryland, which is a sexy place with gun violence. What is she going to do just as an influential person? I just haven't heard anything. I know what she's done, but what is she going to do? That's my question.
So as the brother said, you know, I majored in political science in college. Her hands are extremely tied as to what she can do, as whether you want to hear that or not, sister. It is, the truth doesn't change whether we like it or not.
Because what you're saying is what her job is, like her job, like she can't do. Are you saying her as an influential person? As
I didn't finish.
Power,
I didn't finish my statement, sister.
Okay, well, please finish, but don't tell me what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. As a judge, as an associate judge, she is in the minority on the Supreme Court. And conservatives still have a 6-3 majority, even with her being placed there. That's a heavy burden to bear, whether she was Kunta Kinte. Okay, there's not much she can personally do to tip the scales of justice when it comes to the Supreme Court. Now, I agree with the brother again, that the only way that we'll see activism from her as a Black woman is off the bench. That's the only time that she'll be free to express herself without it being considered bias. As a judge, she's not able to sit up there on a Supreme Court bench talking about, you know, her personal beliefs and what she believes America should be and look like, because that's bias. And they're going to ask her to recuse herself from every damn case that she's ever in front of. You can only apply and speak about the law when you're a judge on that bench. And the moment she clocks out at 5 o'clock, she's then free to talk about whatever she wants to as a Black woman. So that's where that particular sister, she is extremely limited. You mentioned her and Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama was not limited by a court-appointed seat. Michelle Obama was the first lady of the United States. She was free to speak 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She was not limited by a role. This sister is extremely limited by a role.
Oh, why is Cory Booker bringing up race? Why is Cory Booker saying that she's the face of every Black woman? Why is Cory Booker bringing her to tears when he has to pretty much pat her on her back as a judge? Why is it okay for that to be brought forward when that's not part of her position?
So imagine
the majority of America. You can't cherry pick, is what I'm saying.
Hell right? Yes, we can.
What you're saying is wrong, but what I'm saying is, then don't bring us up then.
Hell yes, we can cherry pick, sister.
Talk about the judge, because she talk about her position. She was really good about that. She kept saying, "This is what I do as a judge. I talk about the law. This is what I do. This is what I do." But all of a sudden, even today, the guests that have come through talking about, like, I didn't think she should have cried then. What you crying for? What you crying for? Yourself? You're crying. You're a judge. You're very what is it called? Your accolades are good. You went to Harvard. She checks all the freaking boxes. What is she crying for then? Because I thought she was crying. Was she crying for Black people? Finally, we got somebody in power, and now you're telling me she can't do anything?
I believe that that's what she was crying for. Yes, she to finally see herself, right? To see herself in a position that she probably couldn't, as a young child, right? She, like a million other Black girls, could only, that shit wasn't even a possibility of a dream that you could possibly dream. Now, you might be able to say you could be first lady, right? You might be able to say you could be a vice president of a company or a damn CEO. But there ain't many Black children that ever thought, especially Black girls that ever thought they would ever, however qualified they would be, that they would ever be a damn nominee for the Supreme Court.
Can I tell
so
you
she's
this?
crying. She's crying about
woman,
that.
Can I say this? As a Black woman, proud Black woman, I would never want to be a judge just to be a judge. I'd rather be Harriet Tubman, freeing thousands of my people. I'd rather be Rosa Parks sitting on the bus saying, "I won't be moved. You ain't gonna move me." I'd rather be Angela Davis, who said with class How dare people say that Black people are violent when bombs were being brought forward in her town when she was just a child and those little kids died. They were her friends. I'd rather be that little person who's moving mountains for our society than somebody just there to get a freaking job.
Well, I don't. That's not. I don't think she's there just to get a job. She's there to make a difference.
That's a good enough reason for me to vote for her. If that is honestly, maybe I'm naive. If that is the only reason why she needs to be the judge because we're just trying to get the first Black person in there, that's not a good enough reason. Because I'd rather have a white person in there who's going to actually do something for us, than have somebody there just because she's Black.
Well, look, so let me bring that to you then. So there's another individual on there who happens to be Black. Do you think he's doing anything for us?
Hell to the no.
Okay, and so there are at least a few other justices. So there are a few other justices on there. Are they doing anything for us?
Not a dang thing. So that's what
So
I'm saying.
so what the point that we need to insinuate is that she is making that transition of finally we have representation there. That means when things are coming up to the Supreme Court that really matter to us as a culture, as a nation, that really matter. She is there to be the voice for us. That is what we want. We don't have that. And that's why I keep saying that, we talk about this. Like, for example, Clarence Thomas hates Black people. So anything that comes up about Black people, he doesn't give a rat shit about. It doesn't matter. But she does. She cares. And that's why she's there. And it's not just about a job there. I mean, they do a lot more than just serve on the bench. They do a lot more. But I want that to, like, I'm getting so passionate about it because that's what she is there for. She is there for us. And I want to make sure that we're not diluting that in any way. That her being there, even if it's only for, she's only handling one case a year or whatever the case may be, she is still there being the voice for us that we have not seen in years, decades.
Well, I want to know that from her. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Because I pay my taxes, and I know next year I'm definitely getting my taxes taken out. So I want to get more and more into politics. Y'all can't see enough of me because now I want to know where the hell my money's going and what is America all about? If it's just freaking giving money overseas and gas prices being high and freaking people in power talking about critical race theory and getting upset about it and doing not a dang thing about it. Like at this point, we got to start moving mountains together. I need to know what the adjectives of Miss Honorable Jackson, what she gonna do. And I don't think that's a crazy request to say, well, what now? Well, we know what you've done, and they questioned that, and they housed her for it. But what's next for her? And if I missed, if she said a speech and already addressed this, please inform me so I can look that up and update myself. But I have been watching and I haven't seen that yet. Can you tell me something that she said? Anybody here that she's going to do as a position of the Supreme Court? Did she say what her objectives are moving forward?
I mean, a lot of the questions really, that's why I said at the beginning of the conversation was that we're being robbed of that. She's not being asked those questions of that, but she has made she's made certain to tell us exactly what she's going to do, but we haven't heard all the things that she's planning to do as a Supreme Court.
That's next. I don't know. Maybe that's.
I think my sister might have something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, you're like questioning her to the T. Like, what is she gonna do if she's gonna move mountains for us Black people?
Yeah.
I just want to know: have you ever questioned Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett? Have you ever worried about anybody else that's been nominated and
Is she gonna be
confirmed?
a representation of me?
The highest justice, not just you
Because
as a
at the end
Black
of the day,
woman.
they're talking about. Listen, at the end of the day, when they're talking about Black woman this and Black woman that and being the face of our ancestors, you talking about me too. So I can't tell you what the other candidates are going to do, but I'm going to tell you this: I want the best for somebody that's going to represent us.
She's not just representing Black people. She's going to hold place at the highest court in this country.
Okay, well, Joe Biden brought up race. Cory Booker, he brought up race.
Because we cannot completely ignore that she's a Black woman, the first Black
Okay,
woman
so that's
that's
what I'm
been
saying. It's not just about her, right? And race has everything to do with it. So we can't be. Listen, I'm just asking my own concerns. I don't really care who it is, to be honest. I don't. As
That's
long as
what I'm
somebody's
saying. Your
job done.
concerns, but have you ever were your concern in 2017 with Amy Coney Barrett? Were you concerned then? Were you
Listen,
concerned that any other person in the past has been nominated
to
by the
say
president?
that okay, so you're questioning my credibility of questioning her position as an American, as an African American woman.
I
I
just
mean,
don't
if
understand that you
anybody
think
would go
what
to
they do.
listen, I have questioned everybody. Do you not know me?
I just don't
I
think
have
that you
questioned.
understand what
I
the
have questioned
Supreme Court
Candace
justice
Owens. I have
does.
questioned Majority Taylor Greene. I have questioned even Joe Biden. At some point, I did look into the 1994 crime bill. So I'm just talking about somebody relevant right now who's going to have a great position, but she's very much qualified. But you can't negate the fact that everything needs to be. And we can't just say, okay, so she's Black, she's going to be the representative, she should get the job. That's not how it works.
Her being Black was just the cherry on top because a Black woman has never taken this seat. She is more qualified than the previous 4 people that's been in this seat that has been
Yeah,
nominated.
and I
She's
agree.
extremely
I never
qualified.
not agreed with that. But my problem is this: when I asked you guys, what the fuck do I know? Maybe you know more than me. Okay, what is she going to do? I haven't gotten. Not who the frick am I? Okay, I'm nobody. But
What
what
does
I'm
the
saying
Supreme
is,
Court
what is she
justice
going to
do?
do? And your question to me is, what are the others going to do?
What I want to know, what do you think their job is in the
Well,
Supreme Court?
my position is this: I don't care what her job is. As a woman, American, most importantly, just as a person, as a human being, she should be an activist for all things American.
She doesn't make the law.
It don't matter. It don't matter. I believe that, and I think that you guys, I think she would probably answer these questions better because you are not her. Unfortunately, I think if I was to ask her this, I probably would get a straightforward answer instead of like a protecting of her position. A simple what could she do? I mean, to say that she can't do anything other than sit in a seat in the Supreme Court that's just maybe I need to do my own homework, and I'm going to do that.
You
And
do. You need to. You do. You need to go like tonight. Like
yeah, and
go. I would encourage you to
I will
go.
educate myself. But unfortunately, nobody here was able to give me that answer. So I think we all need to be educated.
Because what I'm asking you, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. What do you think they do
It
in the
don't
Supreme
matter.
Court?
It doesn't matter to me what. Listen, it does not matter what she's supposed to do as a judge. To me, her position is a woman in power, and with that comes a privilege. She's
She
going to have
doesn't hold the
privilege.
power. She doesn't hold the power to change the law. She
Okay,
doesn't hold the
well,
power to change any law. She
well,
has
you
to
know
go
what?
under the
It
guidelines
seems
of
to
the
me that
Supreme
you guys think
Court.
you can't do anything. So,
Oh,
that's unfortunate. It just really is. But it is what it is. Here's Bob. I'm not going to agree with you guys just to agree with you. It's just not going to happen. What's up, Bob?
Oh, we don't agree on a lot of things, and it's
I
all
know,
kinds of
and
fun.
here you go.
Hey,
They,
you're
they, they
totally
can't even
welcome.
handle people that are biased. Can't even handle me even questioning her position, and I want her to win. Like I'm not an
So,
enemy. What I'm saying, Bob. What are your thoughts on what's going on?
oh, this is going to put a lot of people's panties in a twist, but the fact that she's going to always have an asterisk by her name because the first thing that Biden said was that I'm gonna nominate a black woman, which I don't have a problem with. I have no issues whatsoever. But if you
mhm.
look at her, and yeah, so she's qualified on paper, but the Constitution specifically dictates that there are no qualifications to be on the Supreme Court. Anybody could be on the Supreme Court. The qualifications that everybody keeps talking about are arbitrary and set down by the Rules Committee within the Senate. They don't mean a hill of beans. They're not in the Constitution, but that's just what they go by at this point for for a litmus test.
What?
Now, as far as her case history and what she's done, she's been very lenient on pedophiles. Any pedophile that's came in front of her, she's given the least sentence she possibly can. In some cases,
Based
less
on the
than what the minimum
guidelines, please
recommended
don't
is.
spread misinformation. Based on the guidelines.
That's not misinformation. It's black and white text. It's her rulings in various cases. She was
Based
asked to
on the
define a
guidelines
woman.
she
Because
chose.
today being
Listen,
a woman is
we can't
polarized.
be
So
we
she was
can't
asked
be
about being a
biased
woman. She
because
said, I
she's a
can't
black
define
woman.
that.
We got to hear everybody's perspective so that we can all collectively, wrap our head around what's going on. Okay, so this is a perception of some, and I'm pretty sure TK you can understand that there is an objective. There's another side. There's a flip to the coin, right?
I have no doubt, but I just want to make
Right.
sure
So,
it's
are you
clear.
able to ascertain? And listen, again, I support Judge Jackson. Okay, honorable Judge Jackson, and I am very proud of her. But like I said when I first started doing this, probably an hour ago, that was one of the questions that kind of stung a little bit. Okay, because that was the only relevant question that I saw. Hey, wait a minute. Why would she give pedophiles a lesser charge if she could choose the guidelines? She chose the lesser one. Why?
Yeah, and the other thing too is this one guy made a comment in here about Devon. I'm not sure how to pronounce whatever that is, but in any rate, when Brett Kavanaugh was up there, it's odd because he was confirmed to a number of the courts. As he was moving up, the whole accusation of rape never came out until magically he hit the Supreme Court. That's when somebody, wanted to come out and have absolutely no a complete baseless claim to try to smear him. Nobody
Okay.
did that in this
Did
case.
you say other? What didn't you like about Kavanaugh's questions? What was there anything that pointed out to you?
I mean, Kavanaugh answered everything honestly and clearly. He didn't beat around the bush. I mean, he did say that he wouldn't answer some questions because they were currently, pending and routing their ways up through the courts. So I understand that. But like, Ketanji Jackson was asked, about, can you define a woman? Well, I mean, that's basic biology 101. You should be able to define what a woman is. A woman has reproductive organs, period. That's a woman.
Don't you think that
But
would have been
what does
a
that question have to do with her serving on the Supreme Court? I'm a little confused. What does that question have
Well,
to
it,
do?
it has to do with the fact that you've got people out that Leah Thomas, for instance. She whatever is a swimmer. Completely sucked. When swimming against guys, but magically I'm going to call myself a woman, go do this and that, and now I'm going to swim against girls. Which he is a biological male. Period. You can't change that. That's who you
yeah?
are.
Don't you think she would
Which
have been
puts
damn?
him leaps above.
Would have said that we have a strong LGBTQIA community that once you go against the rainbow, it's going to be a storm.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, though, I mean, you can go against the rainbow or mental disorders or whatever you want to call it. I don't really care what people do in their own home.
Mom,
If you want to call yourself a tree, by all means, have at it. I don't really
did
care.
you just say what I said? Then you said, listen, I don't think that she could have answered that question without causing a tug and pull within the left and right. Okay.
But the
Um,
the whole
I
thing
think
it comes down to is you're
quite,
going to piss
I
off
actually like the way that she
somebody.
answered the question. She shouldn't have to act that that's such a basic question. Like that was rather instead of asking what the definition of a woman is. Okay, because right now, I mean, there's so many ways that you could define a woman, really.
Not
Um,
really. I mean,
I mean, she wasn't talking
it's
about, but
it's
I mean,
simple birds
she
and the
didn't ask
bees.
if she had a vagina or a penis. What she asked was, "What was your definition of a woman?" So I think she should have answered it in a pageant way. She should have said, maybe a few ways. I mean, I don't even know how I would answer that question, to be honest. I mean, I would want to write it down. I would want time to really think that through, and not just be thrown I mean, what if somebody asks you, what do you feel about God? And some people don't believe in God, some people do. What some people think that you're a woman or when you're born that way, and some people think that you might have developed that womanhood as you got older. So I think maybe she should have allowed an open-ended answer. If that makes sense, she should have said, if I was her, I would have said, well, a woman is anybody that is born with the female anatomy, and also could be a person who has developed to be like a woman, or to match who they are inside or now. Done. But she
Yeah,
didn't.
but then you're trying to placate to multiple groups
Play with
and
that
beat
type of
around the
bull.
bush. I mean,
Okay, so but that's what you're
I just don't
asking.
think
So
it's a
you
yes or no. I don't think it's such a clear answer. What is a woman? I mean, how much time you got? That's what
well,
I would have.
it's odd that it's only in the last few years that it's this whole thing has really hit the mainstream as far as people def, define basic biology. You got male, you got female. I mean, it's pretty much it.
okay?
You can change your outward appearance, but in the end, 100 years from now, when they go dig up bones, guess what? You're still going to have all the characters of a female, and they're going to say you're a female regardless of how you felt.
Right. I think it's your choice to figure out. I think another way she could have answered it was, it's your choice as an American to choose what that is. So freedom of thinking, freedom will, your free will is a human right to believe what you want is a woman. It's your job to tell you what is a woman, and that's just my opinion. Okay, it's whatever you think, whatever you want to think. Okay, but when it comes to the law, that's a whole nother freaking can of worms. You know what I'm saying? And she could have
But
suggested the law pertaining to where that would be implemented. And I don't think we got that from her. Yes, okay, so you do the law. Okay, so tell us in a lawfully way what a woman is. And she wasn't able to do it. So I just feel like she kind of failed when she couldn't answer these questions. I mean, you would think she went to freaking Harvard. She could basically answer lawfully what these terms are or what these definitions are.
no, agreed. And if you look at it
To get a
from the
job.
perspective of
Imagine
you're
if
saying,
you
well,
get a job. But just
you know
imagine if you get a job, you're a heart surgeon, and somebody was like, what do you define a heart as? Well, just tell them what it is.
yeah, it's a thing with a couple of valves that pump some red stuff. You know.
Really?
But
I mean,
no, I mean,
really?
like, but if you're asking about, what is the impact of this question have on the court? Well, I mean, you've got a
Yeah.
number of LGBTQ whatever, the rest of the alphabet that's in
Sorry,
there.
TK. Our friend, Armani really wants to say something. You can come back if you want to. Only.
Thank
So,
you. Don't worry.
but the
Okay.
premise is that they're asking questions like this because it's going to have impacts on the Supreme Court. I mean, look at gay marriage, right? So, just a few years ago, there was a court that there was basically a law that was challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court, and ultimately the Supreme Court ruled and made it the law of the land. So the last person that says or whoever said that the Supreme Court doesn't make law is wrong, because ultimately their decisions are passed down and become part of the Constitution and become
But
law. So the Constitution is not just the Constitution. The Constitution is the Constitution plus the Bill of Rights plus everything that the Supreme Court has ruled on. That
So,
is what the
yeah,
Constitution really is,
I want to go to
and
your.
ultimately our laws.
Okay, I want to address the woman comment because it was kind of like misrepresented. When you're in her position, a future Supreme Court justice, when it comes to a woman in a legal term, that's subjective because we recognize that. Because transgender people can compete in women's sports in different states. Transgender people can get their passport to the female side. Trans people, like, it's a subjective term. For her to narrow it down to her own bias will actually just be wrong.
right.
But in
And
the
we can go
end, I
more.
mean,
And then
But
you
you're
brought up
you're
she kind of,
biological.
she
biologically
didn't
male
really
or
answer the
female.
question. She
There's
kind
no
of like
switching it.
she didn't answer
It's
the
wrong.
question.
So biologically, you may say it's male or female, but there's also intersex, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's only a few. But when it comes to intersex people playing sports, that is when you start getting to the woman and man. Can they play with the other people since they're not either one? So it goes
But
into
they
like a
are.
Yeah, but
further
she could have said
debate.
that though. She could have said
If
all
you
of what
look,
you're saying. She didn't say anything of that. She played dumb to me.
Okay,
I,
so
listen,
right.
listen, I support Miss Jackson, but what I don't support is her not answering the
Okay,
questions and
let me
all these
just answer
excuses
my
I've been
point.
getting. It's kind of sad.
no intersex person is ever in the history of ever has ever been born with a full set of male and female genitalia. They're either one or the other. They've got both,
Oh, let's
but they
do
either
it.
have one full set or one,
Like, let's go.
either way.
Let's go.
No, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, there was a black woman back then, and she competed, and she had too much testosterone. Her levels too high, and that was kind of common with black women. So they start making it for every female to do chromosome testing. Did you know that back then? Because their levels were too high when it comes to other athletes, and we still see that today. By the way, they're saying that black women are just too fast or too good at some things, but yeah, it all depends on the person. And back then you literally can get disqualified if your level was too high. So I think you're
So don't you think that would have been a reason to bring up her stance on it?
No, because she's a Supreme Court, so she has to bring a case towards her. Let's say a trans woman and a cis woman bring a case. She has to decide. She can't just make up her own theories or things. She has to look at a case, and that's what the question was asked, for her to like just come up with her own theory or her own reason behind it. But she has to look at both sides.
Because everyone should know her positions on these situations
But it's already
societally.
ruled. Technically, it's
You know,
already ruled.
I don't understand why the excuses for her. That's just kind of amazing to me. Because
But Amy Barrett wasn't asked this question, by
and
the
I would
way.
ask the same questions. Obviously, I don't like Ben Shapiro or really any Republican or conservative that's used their platform to spew racist rhetoric. But I just don't know why she's getting excuses for not answering the questions. Just answer the question, Ketanji. Answer the questions.
Not it has to be too, like, she has to look at both sides. She can't answer a question that's subjective. It has to be, she has to look at it from both sides. Does that make
But is it
sense?
really subjective? I mean,
Like, let's go to abortion. A fetus, when it comes to viability, that's subjective. It can be 24 weeks or it can be earlier in some cases. For her to just come up with her own viability, for her own meaning for it, she has to look at every stance. That's why.
Okay, so tell me why Ted Cruz can go onto the stand and then bring forth this freaking book that was made by the author of How to Be an Anti-Racist. She didn't answer
Because
that
he's
question.
a puppet.
She didn't answer that question. She didn't answer really any of these questions that I felt were redundant.
For critical race theory, because it's still in debate, it's no ruling. She can't come up with her own ruling for something. She has to look at it from both sides. For critical race theories, there's no note about it, about the sense of it. She can't come up with her own ruling for it. Does that make sense? Do you want to?
So she can, but wasn't she a part of like a school or something that allowed that book to be read to kindergarten students about white privilege?
Okay, so white privilege hasn't it's a, okay, let's say a case that proves white privilege is a thing. That is what she needs. She needs it to be proven before she can give her own comment about it. And because it hasn't been like to the Supreme Court level, she can't just make up her own like biases. I think that's what people are expecting her to just come up with her own opinion. She can't make an opinion. She has to be neutral. Does that make
Also,
sense?
he said her daughter goes to a school that supposedly read the book, but I think
that's
the
her
whole point
own.
was that she supported the book, which I thought the book was really just distasteful. You know what I mean?
Well, it's best selling on Amazon. I don't know. That's
Well,
it's
listen,
subjective.
I have How to Be an Anti-Racist, and I have not read the young book, and neither did Miss Ketanji Brown Jackson. If you're nasty, she didn't read it either.
Wait, she
But I
didn't
can
read the
tell you
book.
what, I'm gonna read it tonight.
Also, she didn't read it,
I
so
gotta
she'll
read
just.
this book. This book is gonna be the #1 book sold in America, y'all.
It really is.
And honestly, after I read this book, because I haven't, I'm going to read it tonight. You know what? We might find that this book is another form of how to be an anti-racist. Ibrahim Kandi, I believe is his name, wrote that book. Wrote several books actually about societal change and how to understand racism systemically and historically, and how to not be a part of that. So I'm pretty sure this book is a miniature version teaching kids how to be a part of a unified society.
Mm-hmm.
I assure you that that's what the book is about, because I know the author. And ain't no black man author gonna write a book for little kids to teach that the manipulation is what I don't like. It's a mere fact that Ted Cruz tried to make it seem like the book was made to make every white little kid feel like they have a white,
Exactly.
or have some type
Exactly.
of a part in racism. Listen, that's freaking bullcrap. That book was supposed to bring up things that I mean, okay, now how do you explain to a kindergartner, okay, because I have a kindergarten child, okay,
Mm-hmm.
how do you explain to them what white privilege is? I don't think that that's appropriate,
Mm,
to tell you the truth.
no,
So
it's
I
not
have
white
to read
privilege,
the
by the
book.
way.
How was it worded in the book? I got to read the book. How was
It's
it
about
worded?
I can tell you it's about racism, and young kids actually know how to be racist. So if they understand how to be racist, they should understand racism. So it teaches you about racism, not white privilege. I think that's a key factor to know, and it's
Okay.
in a teacher manner. Like we're not really teachers, so we can't really, but it's understood. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's very simple. It's not telling you're racist, but the person in the book may do a racist thing, and a kid may learn, hey, that's not okay to do that. So,
Right.
like, it's not okay to stop someone, not okay
Yeah.
to hit someone.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with the book, because, like I've told you guys this before, I'm from an island of Oahu, and I was a minority with white people. I don't know if you guys know this. Go visit my island, Oahu, in Hawaii. White people are very much discriminated against. That's the part of Hawaii that they don't tell you that I had to witness growing up, and
Hmm.
being in the school with being the only one of the only black people in my school. I swear to God, I was like the only one, and like two other people that were biracial. Um, the only full black person was my brother, okay, and he didn't come to. I didn't come to. I was a sophomore, okay. And let me tell you this: the first time I even realized I was black on an island with so many different races was in history class.
Really?
So in high school, when I had to learn about the first time I learned about Amistad and all of these black events historically were in school. Otherwise, I would have never known anything about it.
And that's
Exactly.
where it should be taught.
Yeah, so why is it
That's what.
okay for us to learn in high school in history class, but it's not okay for kids to know the basic
Hmm.
knowledge of what they're going to learn? I wish I had something to prepare me for ninth grade, sitting in my class with everybody looking at me. Imagine this, I'm the only black person in a class of 30, and we're talking, and we watched the movie Amistad with my black teacher. And he brought up white supremacy thinking, and everybody was looking at me like, "Oh, you're a victim." I was embarrassed because nobody could relate to me and how that felt, you know. So I think it's good to build up to that, but people are going to say it's not okay either way, and people are going to say it's okay. Where do we find a common ground? I think somebody else is trying to. Thank you so much, Armani, for your intelligent, intellectual point of view that I love so much. Twan Bergs, where you at? What's up? And Bob, you can chime in. Bob, I don't disagree with you on everything. I want you to know that. Um,
Well,
I
I'm
think
trying.
some
I'm
of your
trying to let
points
you
are
all,
Can you hear
y'all
me?
talk and get your points across. And when I chime in, I chime in. I'm not trying to be rude and talk over somebody.
Twan Bergs.
Yes, I'm here. Can you
You
hear me?
there? Yeah, what's going on?
Okay. So I want to say that I think she is an awesome judge. Um,
Yeah.
I think she's put in a lot of work. Um, but at the same time, the points that Ted Cruz brought up was very valid. Like the way he did it may have been
Probably going.
disrespectful, right? Right?
Yeah.
It could have been disrespectful, but we should know if this judge is sympathetic to young child lovers, right? So I thought it was a good interaction, but they was having a conversation that 95% of Americans don't know. What he was doing was he was testing her to see if she could play the game, and he did it
Right.
in a public way, right?
Yeah.
So
if she could answer the questions without getting overly emotional, staying on topic, that's what Ted Cruz was doing. It may have been a little tacky how it was done, but they had a legal conversation. And if you notice, she would break down her points. He's like, that's a private school, not a public school. The definition between public and private, the government can regulate the public. The government cannot react with the private. Like they had a very in-depth legal conversation. I thought it was very intelligent. It was a good show. It was all a show.
Definitely a show. Yeah. What's up, Carlos? What's on your mind?
Hey man, hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Nah, man. Y'all talking about that new judge, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I think she faulty as a motherfucker. I mean, come on, man, for real.
Hey,
Just
like
like
that?
like
Why you gonna do Judge Jackson like that? Come on,
man,
why?
she
Why did
faulty
you do
as a
that?
motherfucker. You know what she is. Everybody knows she is. You trying to find?
Why you say that?
No. Why do I say that? I don't. Man, come on, man. Look, she got a white husband. Hello, for starters,
She got
she
a
got
white
a white husband. Hey, do I need to point out the other judges have white husbands too?
But what? So you want to talk? Okay, listen. She was with that man for 25 years. He's a doctor and kissed her on her forehead.
I don't give a
She was being
fuck.
attacked. All I saw was a loving.
I don't care. I don't care about her. Listen.
Yes, that's right.
Listen.
My fiance. Well, I don't know if I say fiance anymore because he's been getting on my nerves. But my children are biracial, and my partner is a white man, and ain't nothing different at all. Okay.
Man, fuck that. He's white, and I just want to know.
What does it
mean?
White have to do with her being a great person, a judge, a Harvard graduate, law school?
So let's talk about it, okay? What we talking about? Clarence Thomas.
Okay.
Did I just say that?
Clayton Bigsby? You mean?
Oh! Somebody else. I didn't know about him.
Oh,
I didn't even
know. God, I can't.
You feel me?
Carlos, I mean, you made your points, brother.
Chris.
I'm going to here. Thank you for coming. We're talking about Judge Ketanji Brown, Miss Jackson Nasty. And listen, I'm on her side. I want her to be the next Supreme Court judge. I just love what she's done. But I'm just trying to take an approach of it as being open-minded, if you will, because I'm not biased. Never have I ever been. Go ahead.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see if she actually makes it on the floor and actually gets voted in. Because you got to think.
So when is that going to happen? Do you have a date? Do you know? Or do I have
my guess is it'll probably be sometime in the next couple of weeks. They'll put it to a floor vote. But here's the thing, it's a 50-50 split in the Senate. If all Democrats vote for her and all Republicans vote against her, she's not going to be on the Supreme Court because there's no tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I just don't see Republicans.
She doesn't.
Listen, I want her. Go ahead,
she does not need one Republican vote. She doesn't need one Republican vote. She doesn't need one Republican vote.
She does. She needs 51 votes total. She needs 51.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's split evenly, so she needs 51 votes. But
okay, I don't see Republicans voting for her, especially because she's a black woman. I just don't think it's going to happen, and it's so sad. If it does happen, but listen to me. If
Kamala
it
Harris
does
is
happen,
not the tiebreaker. Right. She legally can't vote for her.
If it does happen that she does win, I want to let everyone know that's here right now, 94 people, that our country is moving forward progressively. That's something to be considered.
Hey, hold on a second. Everybody in here saying that Kamala Harris will be the final vote tie if needed. That won't work. The Constitution specifically states that the Senate is supposed to vote and affirm whoever the Supreme Court's going to be, the justice. Kamala Harris is part of the executive branch. She legally, constitutionally cannot break a tie.
So what I joined, like before you kicked me earlier,
Kamala
what
cannot
I
break the
I kick
tie. People need to
everybody.
stop saying that.
I don't kick you because I want to kick you. I just try to keep everybody. Like right now, I have a guest, and I try to let everyone get their point across. I feel like I've done that, sis. I always
but you kicked me mid
definitely.
sentence. You kicked me mid sentence earlier.
Okay. Well,
mid sentence. But anyway, what I was saying is earlier about what do you think that the Supreme Court justices does? I pointed out that they don't make the law. They are to carry out the law, to decide if something is constitutional. So you kept saying earlier, what is she going to get in there and do? Is she going to help me as a black woman, or like what?
hey, I don't
What's
need
her
her help.
aim?
I don't need her help. Run until that.
But that's literally what you were saying
No,
earlier.
I'm about to get off the book. I'm about to get off the book because we're gonna break it down because I ain't got nothing but time. So we're gonna learn what exactly she's gonna do in her position. But you're misinterpreting what I'm saying is everybody's talking about. Okay, so she cried because Cory Booker was talking about she's a black woman. She's black this, freaking buzzword, freaking soundbite, freaking got everybody on the screen because she's a black woman, the first black. So what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm just supposed to sit here in my American life and feel like, okay, well, we got the first black person in there. She's going to do her job. She said she's a judge. She's going to be a judge. She's going to be a part of the Supreme Court. We get that. Whatever that entails. I'm freaking not a judge. I didn't take law school. What I want to know is, why are we supporting her? Is it just because she's black?
Because she's qualified. She's more qualified than the
Okay,
last 4 people that was nominated. She's extremely qualified. She's been a trial judge. Some of these other people that has been nominated hasn't even been that far. We are not supporting her just because she's a black woman. She
That has nothing to
deserves
do with it.
this position.
Nobody
listen, I was
that brings
supporting
something
her.
in front of the
I was going to
justices.
Excuse
support
me,
her
Bob.
because I
Excuse me,
felt like
Bob.
maybe she could do something. I mean, you guys are acting like it. I got my laptop here. We're going to talk
Excuse me,
about
Bob.
what she does as a Supreme
I'm
Court
waiting for
justice
D.
because I know for a fact that
They
in law,
decide if a case is constitutional or
okay, so she
not.
can do something. So why are you saying that she can't?
I'm saying that she doesn't make the laws.
Nobody wants her to make the law. I never said to make the law. She's a judge. Okay, what I'm saying is, what is she going to do in her position, just in her job that's going to be different? What is it? What is it? Why is she so special than the other her constituents? Why her? That's like a basic freaking question at every freaking interview. Why you and not them?
Because she's qualified.
Because she's qualified.
They had everyone that was chosen is extremely qualified. Every president nominates one person. They nominate one person.
Yeah, but
Brett Kavanaugh was
recently,
one person.
Somebody
You
said
do
recently,
know that
okay,
there are
but
absolutely
listen,
no qualifications in litmus
exactly.
tests. Know that
Okay,
there are
but
absolutely
listen,
no qualifications in litmus
exactly.
tests
So
for the
that's what I'm
Supreme
saying.
Court,
Bob
correct?
said that you
There's
don't
no
need these
qualifications
qualifications to make the position. So saying that, oh, I can get it because I'm qualified is not a good enough reason to get the freaking position.
There's not a lot of qualifications, but she has more qualifications than the last 4
You keep
people
saying
that
you're
were
not
in her
hearing
qualifications as
spot.
if it has
She's been
any
a
bearing
trial judge.
whatsoever on being a justice.
Excuse me?
Being a trial judge is irrelevant. She's going to be looking at whether or not something is constitutional or not based on the Constitution.
Oh,
She's
so
not going to
now
be trying people. She's not going to be
so
sitting up
now her
there and passing
qualifications are
judgment
irrelevant,
on
Bob.
No,
So
it's
now
not
it's
that it's
irrelevant.
no. See,
qualifications are
this is
irrelevant. The
okay.
Constitution specifically states that you do not have to have a qualification to be on the Supreme Court.
You listen, without emotion. I don't think that you're understanding what Bob is saying, and me and Bob never agree. The qualification she has is great. That's how she's in the position she is today. But it's not. That shouldn't be the reason why she gets it than the other candidates.
So what? Okay, so if we aren't looking at her qualifications, her
So what
experience,
else?
what do you mean? What else? What else
What
does she
else?
need besides experience and
Okay,
qualifications?
let's get emotion out of it. Let's get emotion out of it. So you
Who's
said
don't
being
need
emotional?
experience. You don't need
it does seem
qualifications
a
for the
little
Supreme
emotional
Court.
because you're not really
Anybody can sit
answering
there.
anything other than, well, she's qualified. So when I said, okay, so she basically couldn't answer questions about where she is politically. Like, how do we know where her headspace is if she can't talk
We
about
we are
women?
not
She's
supposed to
not
know
talking about
that.
critical race theory or really anything, any issues that the Republican Party, which is going to freaking devour her like they've been doing until today she dies. Like,
Andrea, we are not supposed to know that. They are supposed to be completely unbiased.
but they're
They are
not.
there. They are. They are. That's why she did not define what she believes a woman is. She's not a biologist.
That no,
Okay,
She
no,
well,
didn't
I
speak
no.
can
on
see that.
That
CRT because that's not her position.
the
They are not
questions that
supposed to
were
have any
asked,
political party.
the questions that were asked was to gauge how she would react to specific things that come in front of in front of the court, because she's going to be sitting and evaluating what the Constitution means. And if she's an originalist, then she'll go back and look at the Federalist Papers and any other writings at the time the Constitution was drawn up, and ultimately determine, does this catch muster with what was actually passed in the lower courts or in the state or wherever it was, whether it be Congress or whether it be Texas or Alabama or whatever state, and it just routes its way up to the Supreme Court. They're looking at how is she going to evaluate the Constitution against what could potentially sit in front of her, which is why they ask those questions. Her being a trial
Right.
judge or a lawyer or anything else under the sun means absolutely zilch, because the Constitution specifically states that you do not have to have any qualifications to sit on the Supreme Court. The only
Right.
thing that the Constitution actually specifically states about sitting on the Supreme Court is the fact that only the Senate and only the Senate can confirm her. So all of you that are in here saying, "Oh, well, Kamala Harris will save the day" and all this other bullshit, she's part of the executive branch. She cannot confirm shit. She can confirm laws, but she
Mm-hmm.
cannot confirm a justice because that would be unconstitutional, which is the job she's going after.
Right. I do hear that point, Bob. I guess we lost the other person. If anybody else wants to say what they need to say, come through. But I think we have to be able to ask all the questions, see both sides, in order to make the most prudent, cognitive, I guess, points of our own. I'm not going to just support, you don't have to care about my support, but me as an American, I don't think I've gotten any relevant answers as to why she should get the position, other than the fact that she's a
The
black
hold on
woman,
a second. We,
and
we, we
that
need to
that to me
address some
is
things
an
here.
issue.
Some people need to have a serious civics 101 lesson. Yes,
We are
Kamala Harris
divided.
is the
That's true.
president of the Senate, but in matters of judicial nomination, the Constitution is very, very clear. It's in black and white. Article 3. Feel free to go look it up. It states that the
Bob,
president
Bob, you're
submits,
spreading misinformation. That's
Okay,
that's
the
what I
Senate
said about in the
listen,
confirms.
comments. If you
listen.
look, Kamala
Just
is
because you
gonna
don't,
be the
just because you don't,
tiebreaker.
okay, but just because you don't agree
She
with Bob
can't.
doesn't mean you have to say
She's
he's
not
spewing
part of the
misinformation.
Senate.
Like I said.
That's misinformation. I've told him in the comments that he should
It's not
research this.
misinformation.
She's the
Go look at
tiebreaker.
Article
You're
3.
completely,
Okay,
sir.
Pull
You
up
could
pull
it,
up Article 3 of the
okay,
Constitution. The Constitution
Bob.
specifically states that the president will nominate and the Senate will confirm. The vice president, which is part of the executive branch, is not part of the Senate. Yes, she is the president of the Senate for tiebreakers when it comes down to making law, not for a justice on the Supreme Court. It specifically states the Senate. She's not an elected part of the Senate anymore. She is an elected representative of the executive branch. That's it. There are separations of powers, and they're there for that for a specific reason. This being one of them.
Kamala cannot have a vote unless it's equally divided.
No, she
If
does
it's
not get a
fifty
vote in a
fifty,
justice.
if it's 50-50, Kamala is going to be the tiebreaker. I wish you would just
That would be
Google it. You
unconstitutional.
are
It's not constitutional. The Article 3 of the Constitution specifically states president nominates, Senate, not the vice president, which is the president of the Senate. But the elected senators of the states are the ones that confirm. If it is 50-50, she loses her shot. They go back and start all over again. She
Bob, that's
cannot
not the
break a
way
tie.
that's not the way it works.
That
She's a
is the
okay.
way it
tiebreaker.
works.
If it's
She is
Okay,
the
equally
let
tiebreaker
divided.
for
me.
a
Okay,
law.
okay, okay. You guys don't agree, so let me just read. U.S. Appeals Court Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson has been nominated to be the United States Supreme Court by President Joe Biden. We know this. She will appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee for hearing beginning on March 21st. This is an article. I mean, it's all over, but if confirmed, she would be the first Black woman and only the sixth woman in U.S. history to serve on the top court. So Joe Biden was making history by doing that, by bringing her forward. And plus, she is qualified. Nobody's arguing that she's not qualified. Um, but Jackson needs 51 votes to be confirmed, and with Democrats in narrow control of the 50-50 Senate with Vice President Kamala Harris as the tiebreaker. She is expected to be approved. Does that answer your guys' question?
It does,
That's
because
not
Bob was
going to
incorrect.
happen. No,
Okay,
I'm not incorrect.
so,
Go look at Article
okay,
3 of the Constitution. The Article 3 of the
okay, wait,
Constitution
hold on.
specifically states the Senate.
So, okay,
Kamala
so
Harris
let's
is
just,
not part of
okay,
the Senate except in acting of the case that there is a tiebreaker in the Senate for a law that's trying to be passed, not for justice. It's very, very clear in the Constitution.
Bob,
okay,
you're
so
wrong.
Only the
Andrea
senators.
okay,
just proved
okay,
it. It's
okay,
okay.
okay.
This will ultimately cause a constitutional crisis. There will be a basically at this point, since it's never happened in our history, if it truly comes down to this, there will be an emergency docket put on the Supreme Court, and they will then say yes or no constitutionally. Can can the president of the Senate vote in a tiebreaker for a justice? And they're going to come
Okay,
back, and I'm sure Kagan and Sotomayor and Breyer and those guys will all come back and say, yeah, sure. But the true originalists that read the Constitution for what it actually says will come back and say, no, she could not break a tie. And there are 6-3 of them. So it's going to come down to she's not going to get appointed because the Constitution is very, very clear. It says the Senate. She's not an elected part of the Senate. She is an elected part of the executive branch. That would break the separation of powers.
so why are they saying that though, Bob? Why are they saying that she's going to be the tiebreaker?
Because she
This is
can. She will be, if it comes
it
Because
down
at
to
this
says
it.
point, everybody likes to run ranch out of the Constitution and say this, that, and the other. But what they're doing is they're not keeping in consideration that there is a 6-3 majority on the Senate or in the Supreme Court right now, and 6 of those are originalists, and they're going to read the Constitution for as it was written at the time. And the
okay. I'm gonna ask.
Constitution in Article, go look at Article 3. It
I'm going.
says
I'm going
nowhere in
to
Article
listen. You
3 where
guys
the president
know.
of the
You
Senate can
guys.
break a tie
You guys know
specifically
me.
for the
Listen.
justice.
You don't have to agree with me, but one thing you guys should know about me is that I don't mind fact checking. Okay, I got my computer right in front of me, and I think I just did that. My sis here, SPD Sharby, whether you want it or not, I respect you and I believe you when you said that Kamala Harris is going to do what she needs to do. But Bob, I also respect you too as a as a somebody on the other end of the table. But what I want to ask you guys is, what does this mean to us Americans? Because I tried to ask that question before. Like, okay, so she's going to get the position, but what is this going to mean for America? And I don't see anybody being able to give me an answer. Just as like a human being, everybody says like it was very humanitarian of her to cry when Booker decided to say that she was the face of our ancestors. When I mean our, I mean mine too. So what does this mean for us? Does it mean nothing?
I don't know,
what
but
what
ultimately,
what
what
adjectives are going to be brought forth by her thing? One thing I can say is that Joe Biden once again is making history. That's what he seems to do. I'm telling you, Joe Biden will be go down as the best president in the United States of America. I mean, he is just really punching out
really
all of our. I believe that because he's doing things off the grid,
10
yo.
plus percent inflation, gas prices at an all time
Listen, that
high.
would
I
have been.
mean,
Listen, I hate to break it to you, Bob, but that was gonna happen either way. Okay, you just would have liked it better if it had Trump's hat on it. Okay, if Trump was the president of the United States and the gases went up, y'all would have been like, well, he's just doing what he got to do. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Y'all would listen. What I mean, y'all, I mean Trump supporter lovers. No matter what Trump does, you guys just think he can't do no wrong. I mean, 3,200 cases of litigation. Are you kidding me? He don't even
look,
pay his taxes. He don't even pay his taxes. And where does his taxes go? To us? Really? Can we at least ask Trump why he hasn't been paying his taxes? I think the American people are owed in arrearage, if you ask me. And he like loves to gloat about it too. It's like that money could go to inner city schools, that money could go to roads, that money could go to freaking trains, so we're stop pumping all this fucking gas into the environment. He's like totally getting away with freaking murder here financially.
Trump
Kind of
donated
amazing.
all of his paychecks while he was president to different groups within the federal government and other people. I mean,
I mean, he is a billionaire, isn't he? Isn't he a billionaire?
Well, he's the
Is
only
that enough?
president to come. He's the only president to come in office and actually lose money on the way out, whereas all other presidents have came into office and made money on the way out.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Now, here, let's do this. I know you
Is it a
record
tax
these.
write-off? Is it a
I,
tax
I
write-off? Is what I
I
want to
know
know.
you record these videos,
I
and
do
I know you post them. Now,
on
Oh,
my
hi,
YouTube channel.
hi,
Mark
Andrea.
what I'm saying.
Hi, Amy.
If it comes down to a 50-50 split, right?
Yeah.
So you've got 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats that go to
Okay.
vote on her, right? And
Okay.
Kamala Harris strolls up in and says, I'm going to be the tiebreaker, and it
Yeah.
actually goes through. You will have a number of Republicans that will come
Yeah,
out of
but
the
like, let's
woodwork
be okay.
and,
But
and
Bob,
push
we're
push an issue up to the Supreme Court and ultimately have them decide on
okay.
it.
But
That is
Bob,
what's
like
going to happen
literally,
because the
that
Constitution
okay. But
simply
that would have
states
happened if it was if it was somebody that it was supposedly on more the right leaning, um, if a Supreme Court justice came in that was more right leaning, the Democrats would have felt the same way. Like this is literally just political. Like people deciding if Kamala would be able to um be the tiebreaker is literally political. It pretty much never happened in history. There's really not much writing on it in the Constitution because, like, as we know with the Constitution, unless it's written in bold letters, everything in the Constitution can pretty much is up to interpretation. Hence is why we
it's
have the
not.
Supreme Court. It is. It is up to interpretation because the
Okay.
No,
Supreme
So
Court justices
the
that will decide that abortion a um is a right within the like Roe v. Wade is against the Constitution. There could be another four Supreme Justices that decided that it's not against this Constitution. It's up for
and
interpretation. This
that's
document is
totally
over
up
okay.
for
200
but
years
But
old.
Haiti.
that's
Okay.
not part of the but that is not part of the core of the Constitution. The Constitution,
The
Article
core of
3
the
lays out
Constitution does not say that Kamala would not be able to vote a Supreme Justice in.
it does.
It's up to
It
interpretation.
does. No, it's
It
not
does
up to
not.
interpretation. No, the core of the Constitution, not the Bill of Rights, the core of the Constitution lays out
I
how
know
a
the difference
justice is
between the Bill of
elected.
Rights and the core Constitution. It does
What I'm
not.
saying is the Bill
Hence
of
is
Rights
why
have been
Kamala
altered
would
and
be able
changed
to do
and
so.
added and whatnot over the years. What I'm saying is that it specifically states that the Senate confirms after the president has nominated, not the executive branch also plus the Senate confirms, which is ultimately what
Okay, but
Kamala Harris is.
Kamala is the head of the Senate.
She is the president of
If
the Senate only when it
right,
comes
but
to
if the
passing
Senate cannot
laws.
come up with a decision, then Kamala would be the person to break the tie in
No,
decisions. It happened to the Court of Appeals. I'm literally just reading right now that it
What I
happened for a
read
judge in the
that I
Court of Appeals
what I
where
read
the
is that
vice
what
president
Haiti
was
said
able
was
to do
true.
that.
What I read, Bob, is what they're
And the
saying is
Republicans
true.
coming
But
back, wait, but the Republicans coming back and deciding that Kamala is not able to do that literally shows that it's up for interpretation. Because if it was fact
nowhere
in the
in the
Constitution, then we would not be having this argument.
nowhere in the Constitution is the Court of Appeals actually exists. The Court of Appeals was only
I didn't
created
say it was in the
by
Constitution.
a
I didn't
law.
say that it was in the Constitution. I'm just saying that
But you're
that it's
saying
possible.
what your argument is saying is that somebody, she came in and broke a tie for somebody on the Court of Appeals. The Constitution says nothing about the Court of Appeals because it didn't exist at the time the Constitution was ratified.
I'm not
The
saying it
Supreme Court,
was
however,
in,
does,
oh
and
my
there
God.
is
I
verbiage
never
in
said
there
that.
specifically.
It
okay, let me just
does
say
not
this.
say
Just
that
literally said that.
specifically.
Okay.
It
Can
doesn't
we?
say that.
Okay,
Because
okay,
if it said
Haiti.
that specifically, we wouldn't have this discussion. Go
Okay,
ahead. Sorry, Andrea.
let's talk about the position and what she's going to be able to do as a Supreme Court judge. I really want to know this even for myself because I've asked time and time again today, tonight, Eastern time here in Connecticut, what can she do moving forward if she gets the position? I want her to have the position. There's not enough diversity in our Supreme Court. There's not enough diversity in power in our institutions here in America. So this is what I'm googling, if you will. Just basic information. If you don't know, this could be a kid here that maybe want to be a judge one day. I don't know. But
I mean,
Supreme Court
ultimately,
judges,
she's one of nine, so
yeah.
it's going to
So let
be
me just explain. The Supreme Court justices, and this is all online. You guys can look it up. But I'm just trying to understand what is she going to do because I haven't gotten that answer. So I'm trying to find it. God says, "If you seek, you shall find," and I am looking. Okay, so Supreme Court justice are composed of nine justices, like you said, nine. Chief Justice and eight associate justices. So there's one person that's mainly in charge, the chief, and then there's eight associate justices. Duties have developed from laws, traditions, as needs of nations have developed three decision-making tasks to deciding which cases to hear, which she said that when that woman, what was when that lady talked about what her definition of a woman is. She really said what her job was, which is true. As a Supreme Court justice judge, she would be deciding which cases to hear, deciding the cases of itself, and determining court's opinion. The Supreme Court's main idea is the duties of Supreme Court justices. Note, the Constitution does not list the duties of Supreme Court. They have evolved through interpretation over time. The main duty is to hear and rule on cases. The Supreme Court ruling on cases is referred to as the opinion of the court. Justices have limited duties related to the 12th Federal Judicial Circuit. So the Supreme Court is made up of nine justices. We know that. There's a chief guy. Our current chief is John Roberts. The main duty of Supreme Court justices is to hear and rule on cases. Thousands are appealed, but they decide which ones to hear. So I can answer my own question. I had said this. I said, what is she going to do? Well, god dang, she's going to be able to freaking basically pick and choose laws that are going to continue moving forward. I think that's really freaking important.
She can, and she'll be assigned to
She
whatever Breyer's circuits are.
if he's a liberal, so I mean, how is that not a capability here in America? So could you imagine all the things lawfully? Since people keep mentioning, not people, but just the president of the United States mentioned she's the first black woman. Then Cory Book. I mean, we can't deny her race and how far she's come and how she's going to be a pillar of possibly laws that could change my lives and hopefully make our lives matter. So this is very, very important. I mean, she's going to have the ability to either hear cases or not. And she's taking a liberal justice position, knowing dang well the last black guy, what's his name, freaking Clarence, ain't doing a dang thing for black people. Okay, with his uncle Bixby. I swear to God, if you guys watch that movie, what is it called, Django? They took Clayton Bixby's face right off of freaking Judge Clarence. Don't you see the resemblance? He looked like Clayton Bixby up in this piece. So to say that she's not going to be able to do anything, that she's limited, is bullcrap. She's going to have the highest position in court as a judge. To now, that's called a raise. That's called a promotion, if you ask me.
Oh, it is. And the thing with my argument about Kamala breaking a tie, if Amy Coney Barrett came in and it came down to 50-50, it wasn't that way at the time, but
Wait,
if it was, and Amy Coney Barrett was trying to be confirmed, and there was a 50-50 split, I would expect that uh,
Somebody, wait, hold on.
God
Somebody saying the Supreme Court does
damn.
not make laws. This is what I said. The Supreme Court, they are allowed to they basically
they don't
have
make the
the
laws. They just decide if it's constitutional or not.
exact.
But
They
they do
Yeah.
make
decide.
laws
Listen, listen.
because of their
Yeah,
opinions
exactly,
that creates
exactly.
law. I mean,
Okay,
look
listen.
look at what happened with gay marriage. Now,
Yeah.
it's not my place to say, if somebody loves somebody else, they shouldn't be able to get married. I personally don't give a shit what you do in your own home. Not a big deal to me. But what happened was, instead of it being a 10th Amendment issue, which is where it should be and where it should stay, it became a federal issue because there was an argument that was brought clear to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, oh, gay marriage should happen. So then it became a 50-state issue
hmm
because it was put in the docket as being law of the land. Just the same as Roe v. Wade. Before it went to the Supreme Court, it came down to 10th Amendment, which is anything that's not in the Constitution, Bill of Rights, etc., is then drive down to the states. And the states were fine with that. Then it
Yeah.
came up to the Supreme Court and that changed everything.
Like
The
Danny
Supreme
said, they
Court totally
solidified the
makes
law of
law.
the land. Yeah, they solidified because listen, she's going to be able to have the deciding of which cases to even freaking hear. I mean, there's cases. Are you kidding me? That they don't even freaking entertain. Absolutely. And deciding the cases itself, she can decide the cases that she hears, decide the cases that are brought forward, and decides the court's opinion. That's power.
But
Yeah, I
now,
mean,
just to answer in anybody's comments, because I've seen a few of them, and that is I'm not saying that she shouldn't be nominated.
Mhm.
if the senators deem that she's got 51 votes in the Senate, then I say go for it. It's net zero. Nothing's changed as far as the balance.
Mhm.
But what I'm getting at is if Amy Coney Barrett in the Senate was 50-50 at the time, and they voted 50 yay, 50 nay, I would expect Mike Pence to come down and be like, I can't do this because it's unconstitutional, because the Constitution specifically states I can't do it because only the Senate can confirm. This has nothing to do with me personally with whether or not she's a good pick. Personally, in my own personal opinion, there's a lot
Please,
more questions
like
than there are
Bob, let
answers.
come on,
But
let's not act like Pence would not break the tie. Like he would never go and be like, yeah, maybe I don't have the right to do this. Like let's be real, he would go and break the tie for their
and
nominee.
and I hope somebody would challenge that because I'm a constitutionalist. I
Yeah,
am
the
not a
Democrats
Republican.
would challenge that. That's why it's a political thing. That's why it's
And it has nothing to do
interpretation.
with
It's
political.
literally
It has
political.
to do with shredding the Constitution and wiping your ass with it. Without the
Okay.
Constitution, we wouldn't have the American experiment.
So
Now,
what I want to do
what
now?
I'm
Okay.
I mean,
saying
you're
Okay. Go
you're
ahead.
talking
if
about you're talking about a piece of paper that was written over 200 years ago, like piece of paper that was written over 200 years ago. Like, there's no way that you can be like for matter of a doubt, like you're going to follow word by word a documentation that's over 200 years when most other countries have rewritten their constitution to be
Okay. Can
updated with this time.
Okay.
it's got us
Okay.
this far in 240 years
You
without
guys.
any
I.
It's
major text
Okay.
being changed.
Okay. Haiti, Bob. I'm just trying to have a more broader conversation, if you will. Mitch McConnell says he opposes Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination. Are
yeah,
you
I
surprised?
saw that he was being
Because
beyond racist about it. He
I'm
was
really not surprised that he would oppose her, and I do feel that it is racially driven. I have to
Well,
the
say that.
the entire thing. Hold on, Bob, because you've been talking this entire time. Just let me say something really quick. This entire thing of how Ted Cruz addressed her, how Mitch McConnell was addressing her. Mitch McConnell went to say that he didn't like the way that she handled herself. This She handled herself with grace. She paid attention to the questions. She answered the questions that she was able to answer. Questions that she recognized were just race baiting or trying to bait her to pretty much to fuck up, because that was the whole point. Republicans were trying to bait her. She decided she didn't want to answer things. She didn't say anything ridiculous towards them. She didn't step
Yeah,
over
I
boundaries.
agree.
But you have the nerve to say that she didn't handle herself. But Kavanaugh literally came in drunk. How did he handle himself?
What I'm
when
saying
did
is,
Kavanaugh come in
wait,
drunk?
wait, hold on. Okay, hold on.
Please, he
Did he?
was
He did
not
what now?
sober.
Okay. Hey, listen, maybe
He
she
was
should have had
not
a drink.
sober.
But
The
listen.
Democrats lambasted both Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh, and you guys are
I mean,
getting
Kavanaugh
hurt
was
Okay,
up
but
there
listen,
because
but listen.
discussing his
Republicans
Okay,
sexual
are
crimes
dishing it out.
against the
okay,
women. He had
okay,
multiple
There was
allegations of sexual
absolutely
crimes.
no
okay.
founding
No
for what
evidence
was alleged or alleged
for
against
women
him.
coming after him about the things that he did when he was a college, and he
With
himself said he
no
couldn't remember because he was too
facts.
drunk.
Okay, hold on,
There
Haiti.
were no
Look,
facts and no
Bob,
basis for
Haiti.
what they
No
said. Not
facts.
to mention
I mean,
Okay,
he
I think
sat
guys,
on one of
we're
personal
playing bells.
one
coming
of the
in saying
district
that
Okay, you
they
courts
guys,
and it
something
you
never
guys.
happened
came
is
up. So
fact.
magically
Hello,
Supreme
hi.
Court it does.
Okay,
It's
hello,
that's okay. I
you
got you,
guys,
Andrea. I'm
you
gonna
guys.
be quiet. Sorry.
You guys,
I get hype.
we're never, and that's why I love doing this. I
I'm
love that
sorry.
you guys are. I know that you're passionate about this, and that's why. And Bob is too. That's why. Listen, I don't want us to agree with each other. What fun would that be? But I need to keep us focused on these topics and not so much arguing with each other. Which is something you guys both could work on. Okay, so we were talking about Mitch McConnell. I want to see what he had to say about it, and I also want to talk about the constituents, the other candidates. I mean, this isn't just about Judge Katanji. I want to know what happened with the other uh, um, candidates. Okay, so let me just read this real quick. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Minority Leader, really? Who wrote this? Announced Thursday he will oppose Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination for Supreme Court. Not surprised. He said, I cannot and will not support Judge Jackson for a lifetime appointment. Okay. Hey, lifetime. Thank you. To the Supreme Court. McConnell said in a speech on the same floor. This is the same guy that talked about the freaking crack being given with the stimulus. Okay. But this is what he had to say. The Kentucky Republican cited as the reason for his opposition Jackson answers on adding seats to the Supreme Court, a proposal she declined to opine on. And her record on both the Federal District Court and the U.S. Court of Appeals, blah, blah, blah. Not getting the answer. Judge Jackson was the court Packers pick, and she testified like it. McConnell said, I don't see the answer. Across her 2 days of testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee this week, Jackson, who is the first black woman nominated to the High Court, declined on numerous occasions to divulge her opinion on proposals to grow the size of the Supreme Court, which has been advocated by progressive judicial groups that are vocal supporters of her nomination. Other nominees to the Supreme Court have responded as I will, which is that it's a policy. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just not seeing his reason why he's why is he supporting her? Because I am just not willing to speak to the issues that are properly in the province of the body. McConnell has also indicated that Jackson has too slim of a record from her near year on the DC circuit. During the tenure there, she has issued two written decisions, which McConnell constructed with a number of opinions from Justice Neal, blah, 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 Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett during their years. Jackson has authored more than 570 decisions in the tenure of her federal bench, blah, blah, blah. Still, McConnell said some of her decisions there, namely her sentencing record, is troubling. I think they're talking about the pedophile thing.
Yeah, I believe there were
I
like
think
6 cases where she gave the minimum or less than the minimum.
And
for
that
I
seems to
honestly
be
don't
a
see it. I
problem.
don't see an issue with that because I don't see why people saying that she's not hard on crime is literally doesn't make any sense. Because why do you want people to be in jail or imprisoned without having any type of deviation efforts?
Hmm.
Like
Look,
I don't see
personally, I think
the issue
pedophiles
with
should
that.
be, should be
You're talking
unalive,
about
but
six
that's
you're
just
talking
me.
about six cases in her um entire history of being a judge. Like I feel like that's kind of a bit much. I think we could
Hmm.
find any cases within any judge where we
Yeah,
might not
but
agree with their decision.
when you weigh a child's innocence versus, pretty much anything else, I mean, next to murder, it's pretty high up there. And the fact that she's giving lesser sentences for pedophilia, basically, she's more or less saying, oh well, and she even apologized to one of the guy and was like, I'm sorry, but this is the minimum is all I can give you. I mean, it just it leads a lot to question where she really does stand because ultimately she's going to be evaluating law. She's not going to be trying cases anymore
You're
at
talking
this
about
level.
six cases in her entire history. I doubt that she only saw six cases of somebody who was considered a pedophile. Six cases. Like to decide her entire history of a judge based on six cases is kind of ridiculous.
So my hope is that if she does get nominated by chance and by the grace of God, she is going to be able to make a difference lawfully in this country by swinging votes for opinions that are going to be brought forward pertaining to cases that could, change the courses of our lives here in America. I mean, let's talk about some cases that were influential within the Supreme Courts. What is it?
Hey
Loving
D, I
Love.
gotta I gotta jet and go get my kids down for the night. I
Okay.
just realized what time it is, but
All
this was
right,
fun.
Bob.
We will do this
Yeah,
again because
always. Yeah,
because
always.
when I came in here, you had 30 people, and I brought you to 200 people. So
You know what, Bob? You
Child,
get all the credit. You get all the credit. Okay. Thank you, Bob. Everybody say thank you, Bob.
I make you look good.
You listen. I like having an opposite, but we always respect each other, and that's what's important for us to demonstrate that you could be left, right, or center, and still meet in the middle somewhere. Go,
Oh yeah,
Bob.
yeah.
Go. Go. All right. Listen. Right while you guys were going out of Haiti, I was trying to look up information pertaining to the other candidates. What can anybody say about Kavanaugh, the other candidates? I really want to really think about this as just a person in this country, what it means to vote for a person in power. It shouldn't just be about the color of her skin or her race.
I
I
mean,
mean,
right, but Andrea, I don't think like this is not solely about the color of her skin. Like,
but it
yes,
is
her color,
though. It does
but
come
I'm
off
saying
like that.
I didn't say it's solely. Like, there's obviously a part of it that's about her color of her skin, but also it's about her lived experience. Like this woman has worked her way up to being one of the best judges in the country and being able to be nominated from the president.
Okay,
Like
but Haiti.
she has
Well,
lived
I'm gonna
experience
ask.
as a
Okay,
black
Haiti,
woman. So like,
Haiti,
and then on
Haiti,
top of that,
Haiti,
her
Haiti,
experience.
Haiti. I get that. We all get that. But my question is this: can you please answer it in your own way? What is that going to do for the American people?
That's going to do a lot for the American people. She's going, when she sees cases, she's going to take it from a different perspective. She's not going to see the same. If we looked, let's be real, let's be clear about this. If we get a case, because there's many times where they've gotten cases that was clearly you and I, who are not lawyers, would be sitting there like, this is clearly racism. This is clearly racism, but then white folk up at the Supreme Court are like, oh no, it's not racism, blah 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 blah, whoop de whoop. She's going to have
Okay.
an experience. She's going to see it from a completely different perspective that a lot of those white men will not be able to see it. Same reason why having a white woman, having women, just women in general, are important because they're going to be able to understand and perceive things from different points of views that white man will not be able to. Hence is why we need an Asian person on there. We need someone
Okay.
who's Indian. We need someone who's Muslim. We need different types of people on the Supreme Court because everybody has different lived experiences, and we need people to be able to see these cases from different points of views.
Okay.
Like,
You were the only person that could answer the question, so I commend you for that. All right.
thank you, child,
Yeah.
because I be studying.
But not only do you study, you were able to answer the question without emotional banter, and that's what we need to see more in the political realm. We can't be so emotional.
Oh, so it's only gonna be 2 minutes because I know that guy
Okay, go
wants to
ahead.
come on. So, okay, when were you able to fact check the guy who said that Camilla Harris couldn't use her vote,
Yes,
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 yes, and he was
that
and it
no
was
was
debunked.
child.
I
and it
debunked
was
that.
true or false?
It
It
was
was
it was
false. He was
he
wrong.
he
I was making sure. And dang, what was
from
my
what I
other
read,
question?
he was wrong. From what I read, Kamala
Well,
Harris is
he is
supposed to
wrong.
be the tiebreaker. From what I read and fact check, Kamala Harris will be the tiebreaker. So that's what it says.
Yeah. So traditionally, I don't think it's that way, but she still have the power to do it. If that makes sense. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
what they
never
don't.
happened before. So like
Right.
we've never seen it before, but if it were to happen, which it probably won't, she would be the person that they'd go to.
Right. And I
But I
wanted
do
to
feel
mention
like
that to him.
okay, but I do feel well Bob had to go, but he'll be back. I am sure of it.
Yeah, because there is
But
a Republican who will vote for her. Like he already said it. Like I cannot
yeah,
remember his
but
name.
don't you feel like when there's smoke, there's fire? And the reason why I like having Bob on the show that I am managing is because we have to be able to ascertain the opponent's point of view, and
Hmm.
there might be some um, premonitions within the conversation. You know, we should be taking notes on the left
Right.
because the fact that he's already predicting she's not going to get the position because there's going to be some filibuster or some antics pushing me in.
I'm gonna let the
That's
guy
something
come
to take
on.
note of.
Oh,
So we're not.
I think she got something. I think she was like in her car and it disconnected.
Yeah, she can come back. But do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, one thing I've been learning in business that I'm trying to get more mature at and get better at is instead of jumping to a conclusion or even stating my opinion, I try to listen to the opponent because sometimes they'll tell you what they're going to do. So therefore, it's kind of like the game of chess. You know what I mean? How can you got to know their moves. So the mere fact that they're already assuming that she's not going to get the position because something's going to happen in the end sounds like a freaking a football game that I just watched with the Chiefs and y'all what was it? With the Chiefs and another team where we were like, are they going to win? I mean, is this entertainment at best? Is it going to make a difference either way? Is what I want to say and ask. What's up, Kwawi? You there?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm fine. I'm here. How you doing? I didn't know if you was gonna be able to pronounce my name or not, but you did. You pronounced it fine.
There you
What
go.
I
What's
was
going
doing
on?
is, oh, I'm fine. I just wanted to say that everybody is talking about the pedophilia and with Judge Jackson. That's a big, wide open field that they're talking about. There's a lot of different type of pedophilia. You know, there's books of children. There's actually touching a child, and there's other stuff. The thing that she did, they should.
I don't want to know.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that what she was talking about, she was on a sentencing commission,
Okay.
and all she did was talk about pedophiles. It's not like she was up there saying, "Oh yeah, you get 30 days probation and you just raped 15 kids." It wasn't nothing like that, like they're making it sound. And
So
matter of
what?
fact,
Yeah.
PDS and the
Hayden, you can
you
come
might
back,
want
but
to look up PDS and
Mr. Biggs is somebody. We gotta let everybody talk. You can come back. I'm gonna be here for a little while. I was gonna get me a glass of wine, but I haven't been doing this in a while. I've been trying not to do this as much because it's not really good for my mental. But it's Thursday. Mr.
are you want me to
Briggs
get off?
41. Hey, no, I was just trying to invite Mr. Briggs uh to to say what he has to say, but since I kind of didn't know where your position was, Mr. Colley, well, come back. TK's back. Mr. Biggs, are you there? 41.
I'm here.
What's going on? Are you
No,
guys
no.
getting
So
dizzy? Let me know if you guys are getting dizzy with Judge Jackson going around. It's just a filter. If you guys want me to change it, I can change it. But
no, it's cool.
what's your position on all this? What's going on?
Who, me or the guest, Mr.
Well,
Big?
TK, I know where your position is, but Mr. Biggs 41, I don't think I've ever talked to you before. Are you there?
He
Oh,
said he
he
can't
can't.
hear us. He said he can't hear us. He's probably going to come
Oh,
back because he can't hear us.
he said he can't hear us. Oh, okay.
Right.
So anyways,
So
I do want to invite anybody. Of course, TK, I hear your position, but I feel like we haven't really discussed what Kavanaugh's position is. He said, "I'm here today to tell the truth. I have never sexually assaulted anybody." It kind of bothers me that this stuff is really brought forward in public. It's so embarrassing. Ford said Brett groped me and tried to take off. You know what? And believes he was going to. Okay, are you? Okay, wow. And in anchor defense, I don't know what's worse, Ketanji, Judge Honorable Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson being asked about CRT, or Kavanaugh being asked about sexually hurting somebody. Just disgraceful confrontings.
very much so.
I mean, could you imagine trying to get a job and somebody bringing up like an accusation?
Mm, it depends.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump is infamous for this type of stuff, yet he gets a pass.
And
Make it
that's
make
what a lot of these your the comments and the folks what I was as I was sitting here reading, there's a lot of people who says, "Oh well, she let off pedophiles," and I think your previous guests make comments of that, and it's so funny that again we bring up that conversation about letting off pedophiles, but they were willing to, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Alabama that Roy Moore was in it, where the governor says, "I don't care what he did, I just want him to get voted in so I can get my agenda passed." That is the society that the Republicans are on. It's not even about the whole thing that, and I'm going to jump topics, but I think it's just they love to spout off whatever makes them feel great. Yes, and Democrats need to get on their A game. And honestly, I even I was so pissed off one day. I was like, Nancy Pelosi texted me. I guess it was her or whoever it was that was texting, and I said, stop texting me and actually go do something. Because at this point, it what they're doing is irrelevant to me. They need to actually be out here making laws, creating
yeah,
policies that actually
right.
benefit me instead of sending me something about. Yeah, and that is true, Kwame, is that the Republicans' position is misleading. And the problem is they love to use, like they use the whole term defund the police, but it is actually them. And you can look at laws. I don't care anybody that's in here, whether you're on the right or the left, I promise you can go look at every single person and look at how many times Republicans have defunded the police over the last decade. I promise you, they're the wrong people to be saying it. But the Democrats are so hung up on trying to defend that they shouldn't say defund the police that they're not bringing out the facts. Give me the facts. Show the people. That's just like the Republicans are defunding education. But no, they don't talk about defunding the education because it doesn't sound right to them. But that's what I'm saying. It's like this whole narrative that they come up with these great slogans that sound really great,
Yeah.
but they're not doing anything. And I hold Democrats the same way. So
Right. Good.
if you coming
That's
at
good to
me,
know.
I'm not gonna say, what do you mean? What am I talking about, Rep? Um,
Somebody just arrived.
oh, um, so that's why I'm not going to sit here and say that I always agree with everything that President Obama did. There's just a lot of things that I didn't agree with, but at the
Yeah.
same time, there were things I was like, okay, that was pretty good. There are a lot
Yeah.
of things that I didn't agree with Bush on. Yeah,
Right.
maybe. But I've always said this too. I said, you know what? Bush at the time was the president we needed when we went to war. Was he great at all the other things? God no. But um, that was the person that I felt that at the time could handle what we were in. Same thing with President Obama.
Hmm.
I don't think Trump should have been the person. Maybe we wouldn't be in the position we are right now with, you know what? I don't want to say it um, off the rails, but that is just where I am. Hey, Sade,
Okay.
you
I do
empowered
want to say this.
Democrat.
Let's talk about Kavanaugh here. He is was
Oh,
sworn in by
Andrea, I know you want to go there. I just want to make sure I point this out really quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
So
Yeah,
the
go
guy
for it.
Bob kept saying, and I just those of you that are not aware, and I know we've talked about it, and it was confirmed. So the way it works is, yes, normally the vice president doesn't normally sit in on these particular Supreme Court justice hearings. However, the Republicans changed the supermajority, because supermajority means they have to have at least, I think it's, is it 60 votes? I think it's 60 votes. Usually it's like supermajority is really like
Yeah,
51, but
you
they
have to have
have it
two
where,
thirds of it,
right,
two
two
thirds
thirds.
of the
So
vote.
they changed the law or the rules to benefit them. So now when everybody says, oh well, the vice president cannot come in and do this, actually the vice president can. The vice president can sit there, but shall have no vote unless, that is in this, your Bob said Article 3 or Section 3 of the Constitution specifically says that the vice president will break a equally divided tie. Clearly.
So what do you think? So what do you think Kamala Harris is going to do? Because Kamala Harris has
She's
been
gonna
known.
go for. She's gonna do because I mean it's Biden's pick, but let's be real, Kamala. Because I mean it's Biden's pick, but let's be real, Kamala helped out with that pick. Like she's gonna vote for her in.
Went to a HBCU. Okay, she
Yeah,
went to a
she's
black
gonna want a
college,
black woman in there.
and she's
She's
a woman, and she's the first black vice president, and
yeah,
Asian. Listen, she's you know what? I just want to say this. I'm from Hawaii, from Asian island. Okay, I grew up with every type of Asian. They are really quiet about Kamala Harris being Asian. That really bothers
because
me.
she black child. You know.
She
Anyways,
listen. She is no, no,
we know
no,
where we're gonna go down on
no,
that
no,
and
no,
that
no, no,
little
no,
hole.
no, no,
I think we
no,
all.
no, no, no. Hey, no, I'm not gonna let you do that to us. She is not black. She is biracial.
She, but you know why they quiet though. But that's what I'm
Why?
saying. Why? Cause she black child. That's
Oh,
why they
that's why.
quiet.
I was like,
Quiet. I don't know
I
if we
mean,
want to go down that
yeah.
little, but
I,
we
I mean,
know why
somebody had
she
to mention
they
it.
quiet.
Somebody had to say something. I was gonna listen. I ain't never lied. I mean, I didn't see no Asian person be like, "Yeah, we got the first Asian one." Yeah.
Well, because she's also South Asian, so she's not Eastern Asian, and there's a whole issue with colorism between that also, where like
Uh,
Eastern Asians and South Asians.
no,
So that there's a whole thing between that where the mass majority of Asians won't really accept her because
that really bothers
she's
me
South Asian.
because she's the first Asian too, but ain't nobody talking about it. Is it not a good big enough soundbite for anybody? Okay, but anyway, let's talk about real quick, and then this is gonna be my last thing, and I'll let you guys do your name thing. I just want to know more about Brett Kavanaugh. Okay,
Brett
so
Kavanaugh is a dirty, dirty dude. He's a dirty, dirty dude. And I was trying to get past when Bob,
Amy.
because that's the thing that I don't like about politicians, and it's on both ends, is that they will accept certain behaviors if it's on their end. The Democrats do it and the Republicans do it. Because while I was
Mhm.
saying that multiple women came out and said that he had abused them, he's talking about no, there's no fact. What fact? Why would a doctor risk her entire career and livelihood to sit in front
Hmm.
of the Senate to lie about being abused? And there was
Right.
a Latinx
Okay.
woman also. Like they just they it's their hypocrisy on both ends is annoying.
Right, exactly, and I think we've all pointed that out in our little segment here. But let's just talk about this. He was nominated by President Donald Trump on July 9, 2018, and he is a part of the Republican Party. So, what part of the politics or his politics or any questions that he answered pointed out to you? Anybody here? Is there anybody here that's for Kavanaugh? Please speak up or forever hold your peace. I can tell you right now because he's
I
a
don't
Republican. I
remember
know
the
I'm not gonna
exact
like him.
questions. I don't remember the exact questions that he was asked. That was
Okay,
a
I'm
while
trying to look
ago.
it up. And then anybody else that you could bring up that's a potential candidate for the position. I don't know about you, but I don't want a Republican taking a position of a liberal president that could swing votes for leftists like myself. I'm pretty sure if the last judge he was a liberal, we should kind of keep that going. The Lord knows what would happen to our country if Supreme Court judges were all right. Oh Lord, help me! The Emancipation Proclamation would be reversed. The Confederate flag would be a holiday. Like I can't.
I think also like a lot of these judges, like definitely for Judge Jackson, I think that like I don't think that they're as left. Like they're definitely not as left as myself. They're more moderate because
Okay.
Biden himself
Mhm.
is a moderate. They're
Yes.
not going to push for defunding the police, but they're also not going to push for banning all abortions. Like I'm sure she Kavanaugh, because she already called out Kavanaugh for it, Amy Child, they're gonna go and decide that Florida, Texas, I think who there's like 13 states that are all trying to push anti-abortion laws. They're gonna all decide that that's unconstitutional, which it is. Another thing when they're talking about pedophiles, because she supposedly let go pedophiles, but Texas decided that banning abortions after 20 weeks would stop pedophiles, which we see that it doesn't, because there's literally um, research that shows that that does not help anybody from being um, abused by a pedophile. But he doesn't care about that, so I don't know why these people are being. Yeah, Missouri's another one. Like I don't. Hopefully she does.
Well,
Why
I
is
don't.
Brett?
Amy Coney Barrett.
I'm gonna let you guys close out your statements if you want. I'm gonna close out with this. Um, we have got to stop fighting with each other over, um, I guess, redundant uh, uh, rhetoric, especially far right rhetoric, talking points. That I really don't think they bring us anywhere. I really don't feel like our country has gone that far intellectually. I mean, they should be all. I mean, these are Harvard uh, um, uh, students, Yale students. These are people that are supposed to be known for their intelligence. And what we're
Ted
getting is
Cruz is and
what we're
Ted
getting
Cruz
is
got
just
a high
societal
education.
rhetoric. I mean, I wanted them to say some words I had to Google because Lord knows I love to add a new word to my freaking vocabulary. All I'm seeing is just a whole bunch of grown people, old people that acting like leftists or right wing brats that aren't getting their way. Um, two wrongs don't make a right, or does it? That's the only thing I have to say. I hope
No,
that
you're
when
right,
she does
Andrea,
get
because it is
nominated, yeah,
you're
go ahead.
absolutely right because it is annoying, and I also think that hopefully once hopefully somebody will get in office or Supreme Court and will decide that a lifelong um spot in Supreme Court is unconstitutional because that's ridiculous. And then
Yeah.
all these old people like McConnell and Mitch McConnell and shit, they're old as dirt. They do not deserve to be there. Like,
Right.
That's true.
there's no reason for you to be there.
But listen to
You're
this though.
absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Racial language. I feel, especially in court, race is a protected class. That is law. So the mere fact that all this racial language and back and forth rhetoric is being used to figure out, I guess, credibility or lack thereof, it's just really, to me, against the Civil Rights Act of 1965. I mean, I felt like she was being discriminated against
She
um,
was.
by bringing up a book that was here or nor there pertaining to her position. No thanks to Ted Cruz and another, I forgot the lady's name that was asking her about what the definition of a woman is. She's
Blackburn,
very
whatever her
quotable.
stupid name
Just know
is.
that. What was her name? I
I
don't know.
think
But
Blackburn, dummy. That's what we're gonna call her.
I think it
right,
was like Marsha
yeah,
something. It was like
Yeah,
Marsha something or
yeah.
like that. I
Blackburn.
don't know. I've never heard of this damn
Becky with a
lady.
good Becky with a good hair,
Oh, I've heard of her. I mean,
But
she got elected in 2018, and she's been, I think, 18, and she's been nothing but a dummy ever since.
Marsha
Child.
Blackburn, that's her name. Thank you. The way she spoke to Honorable Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to me was really what's that word for it? It just reminded me of every boss that you just knew you just couldn't impress, like no matter what you say. Like
I
you just
felt
there to
bad.
clock
I
in.
felt bad for her. You could see in her face that she was cussing every single one of them out, and I was there for. Well, you could
There was
see
a
in
side
her.
of me that I wanted to see the black girl in her. But that's what I meant. When I was talking about her tears, I wasn't trying to say that I didn't feel her passion and humanitarian stance on the things that was being brought forth by Booker. But what I'm saying is I just wanted to see that strength of our ancestors, and I guess I did see that through her, her career. But I really just didn't see it through her mouth. Like she seems a little fluffy to me. I just really wanted her to be like, this is how it's going to be. I wanted her to control the conversations that were being asked. See, Omarosa, I'm starting to become a fan of her more and more, not as a political person, just as a woman of power, because she has a way to talk to people and control the conversation. And I just don't think that she did good at that. I think that a woman who, or just a person in general, that knows how to talk to people can control how they go, how things are said, you
Yeah,
know?
but she probably she's you know how it is sometimes. Like we say that, but like let's be real, Andrea. As Black women, like we don't have that luxury. Because
I
even
want
with
that
her,
luxury though. I
you
want it so
I sure
bad.
do too. I wish she would have cussed them out. But
Omarosa, Omarosa, have you ever seen her talk? She
I
just has
love
a
Omarosa.
sassy way to just bring you. She knows how to take a question or a question and make it an answer. Like I just think you really got to be clever, and I want to see that. I want to see her cleverness. I want to see her rough them up. I don't want I want to see her sweating when she was talking. And I just feel like when you have a position as a judge, she's been a judge for what, 8 years or something like that. I
hmm
think that being a judge, she might have gotten comfortable. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine somebody doing a mass murder or something like that. I'd want her to be like a little bit more stern.
Hey, Chatter. What's up?
Hello. How's it going? And then this one is Cujo.
Aww, puppy.
Cujo? I don't even think that thing's big.
Aww, puppy.
Cujo? I don't even think that thing's big enough to be a Cujo. No, he's a freaking ankle biter, okay? My big and Charlie enough to be a Cujo. No, he's a freaking ankle biter, okay? My big and Charlie does not like him.
Really?
Little Chucky. Yes. Does not like him.
Really?
Little Chucky. Yes. Hey, Curb. Well, you could put a little harness on it and strap it to the back of Chucky and walk him around. Hey, Curb. Well, you could put a little harness on it and strap it to the back of Chucky and walk him around. That's Jackson. Big old chocolate lab. That's Jackson. Big old chocolate lab that's not even 2 years old. And then that's Spencer. You get down, you're going back. It's not even 2 years old. And then that's Spencer. You get down, you're going back. What does he weigh? Which is a Shepherd Lab Mix. Who weighs what? What does he weigh? Which is a Shepherd Lab Mix. Who weighs what? Hey, Tim. 130. What's up, Tim? Hey, Tim. 130. What's up, Tim? I didn't see you on live, so I came in here. You say he's not even 2 years old? I didn't see you on live, so I came in here. You say he's not even 2 years old?
TK.
Well, yeah. So I think the two things and I want to leave here is that, a lot of the folks on the side, they asked her this question about court packing, and wanted to know what's her thoughts. But if truth be told, and we go back and look at traditional history, the actual Republican Party has packed the courts to represent their narratives for years. And if people don't believe me, trust me, you can go back and actually go look at all the votes of all the courts that have judges that have been. No, he won't be 2 until June. And he was 130 pounds.
2 lug pimp.
2 months ago. Hey, Two Lugs, what's up? Are you parked, Tim? Get it.
Hi, Tim. I gotta get rid of this one before if I decide to move.
Why?
Because the other dog would probably eat him alive. If her chocolate lab would take one gulp out of that dog, you'd be like, is that it?
No, they'd want to play. No, they'd want to play bottom of cabbage. Lugs, you just parked too? Bottom of cabbage. Lugs, you just parked too? Is that your radio?
I think he had a phone call.
Is that your radio?
I think he had a phone call. Are you back? Are you back?
Right? It was a good. Right? It was a good song. You covered 830 miles today, Lugs? Wow. Song. You covered 830 miles today, Lugs? Wow. Hey, Marine.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, Marine.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey. Now he's quiet. Now he's quiet.
I wonder if it did something to his live.
wonder if it did something to his live. Hey, cadet. If you're talking, Nate, we can't hear you, honey. I bet 830 some miles. Yeah. 705. It's a long day, guys. Hey, Tim, guess what? I'm going to have homemade cinnamon rolls in the morning.
Aw.
Uh-huh.
Send me some. Send me some.
Well, when I was talking to Tim the last 2 nights, I was making, the one night was foil packs, and then the next night, last night, was nachos. That's not nice. Well, I've been on with Tim each night when I've been making something. Sorry, Lux. Hey, nurse.
Yeah. Okay. So that means you gotta let me know where you're at, and I'll come to you.
I am in Northwest Illinois. I am
okay,
15 minutes from the... You what?
I can't go to Illinois.
Why?
Illinois is bad luck for me.
Hi, Ninja.
But I am going to Illinois April 22nd, 23rd, though.
Hey, Bethany, what's up? Why? How come?
I'm going with a friend of mine, and he's gonna go get a sleeve done, and he's paying for my tattoo too. I was like, yay, free tattoo.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brent, you had Taco John's. Well, that's not bad. The nachos, I had leftover nachos today. They were really good. They tasted better today than what they did yesterday. Got one at that door, one at the window over here. What's up, Brent? How could you get rid of your puppy?
Because
Hey, Chucking Bird.
one I might be going to stay with, his dog might get a hold of it, want to play with it, and it might go home.
Are you talking about Nate?
No.
Oh, somebody else.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim. Yeah, the next day it is. Well, you haven't had any of my food yet? I used to be an assistant chef at a country club back in the day when I was in high school.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. And then I think tomorrow I'm going to use, though, a dough that I've already got, and I'm going to make churros. Twist them up and roll them in sugar and that, cinnamon and sugar. Mmm.
I'm gonna have when I go to Illinois, I'm gonna have to hook up with her and get her to fix me something. I just don't know what part I'm going yet.
Right? We're in Kentucky area because my girlfriend's down there in Bowling Green.
I'm about 3 hours away east of Bowling Green.
Okay. She was in the live earlier, Lexi.
I'm about close to 7 or 8 hours away from where he's at in PA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we figured that out when I had to do a secret squirrel mission.
A secret squirrel mission?
Yeah. Extra stuff I had to take up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How come you're not on live, Tim? You're just not doing it tonight? We don't know what happened to Snowman.
Unless
we can't hear him. Call. Could be, but usually it don't go back to live screen though.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you're going to be in Louisville by lunch tomorrow.
Louisville is almost 4 hours away. I am really far east. Ha! I knew it.
See, mine don't do that. Mine completely freezes.
Mine would too. But I figured it out. Yay.
Okay, you get some sleep, honey.
Have a good one.
Sweet dreams. Safe travels tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta be at work at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, 4 does come early. Hey, Corey. Yeah, kiddo gets up at 7, but I gotta stay up for the rolls and till at least midnight, a little after.
Gotcha.
Oh, it started today. Oh, that's right. Will was saying that. He's gonna be in Oklahoma. He left. I talked to him earlier in my live, and he said he had like 3 or 4 hours, and then he was leaving.
Can have these conversations respectfully, I think that we can move mountains together. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if she's going to win. But what I do know is that we're really seeing our country play out its antics. You can't say that systemic racism doesn't exist when systemic racism is the pillar of questions being brought forward to a black woman. That should be a universal question asked by everybody. But Kavanaugh, I don't think he's having a fair chance either. I mean, to bring up sexual allegations, can somebody bring?
Oh. Are you back?
Right? It was a good song. You covered 830 miles today, Lugs? Wow. Hey, Marine.
Hey, hey, hey. Now he's quiet.
I wonder if it did something to his live. Hey, Cadet. If you're talking, Nate, we can't hear you, honey. I bet 830 some miles. Yeah. 705. It's a long day, guys. Hey, Tim, guess what? I'm going to have homemade cinnamon rolls in the morning.
Aw.
Uh-huh.
Send me some. Send me some.
Well, when I was talking to Tim the last 2 nights, I was making, the one night was foil packs, and then the next night, last night, was nachos. That's not nice. Well, I've been on with Tim each night when I've been making something. Sorry, Lugs. Hey, nurse.
Yeah. Okay. So that means gotta let me know where you're at. And I'll come to you.
I am in Northwest Illinois. I am 15 minutes
Illinois.
from the... You what?
I can't go to Illinois.
Why?
Illinois is bad luck for me.
Hi, Ninja.
But I am going to Illinois April 22nd, 23rd, though.
Hey, Bethany, what's up? Why? How come?
I'm going with a friend of mine, and he's gonna go get a sleeve done, and he's paying for my tattoo too. I was like, yay, free tattoo.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brent, you had Taco John's. Well, that's not bad. The nachos, I had leftover nachos today. They were really good. They tasted better today than what they did yesterday. Got one at that door, one at the window over here. What's up, Brent? How could you get rid of your puppy?
Because
Hey, Chucking Bird.
one I might be going to stay with, his dog might get a hold of it, want to play with it, and it might go home.
Are you talking about Nate?
No.
Oh, somebody else.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim. Yeah, the next day it is. Well, you haven't had any of my food yet? I used to be an assistant chef at a country club back in the day when I was in high school.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. And then I think tomorrow I'm gonna use though a dough
Hattie.
that I've already got, and I'm gonna make churros. Twist them up and roll them in sugar and that, cinnamon and sugar.
I'm gonna have
What's
to,
up,
when I
Tim?
go to Illinois, I'm gonna have to hook up with her and get her to fix me something. I just don't know what part I'm going yet.
Right? We're in Kentucky area because my girlfriend's down there in Bowling Green.
I'm about 3 hours away east of Bowling Green.
Okay. She was in the live earlier, Lexi.
I'm about not close to 7 or 8 hours away from where he's at in PA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we figured that out when I had to do a secret squirrel mission.
A secret squirrel mission?
Yeah. Extra stuff I had to take up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How come you're not on live, Tim? You're just not doing it tonight? We don't know what happened to Snowman.
Unless
We
he's still
can't
on a
hear
phone
him.
call.
Could be, but usually it don't go back to live screen though. Oh, you're going to be in Louisville by lunch tomorrow.
Louisville is almost 4 hours away. I am really far east. Ha! I knew it.
See, mine don't do that. Mine completely freezes.
Mine would too. But I figured it out. Yay!
Okay, you get some sleep, honey.
Have a good one.
Sweet dreams. Safe travels tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta be at work at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, 4 does come early. Hey, Corey. Yeah, kiddo gets up at 7, but I gotta stay up for the rolls and till at least midnight. A little after.
Gotcha.
Oh, it started today. Oh, that's right. Will was saying that. He's gonna be in Oklahoma. He left. I talked to him earlier in my live, and he said he had like 3 or 4 hours, and then he was leaving. Hey, Lugs, have you ever been to the I-80? Hey, never.
Up the proof of that? Shouldn't the burden of the proof be on the court? I just think that oh, I'm getting shut down here. I think that we have got to get to a point to where fairness is for everybody. I do think that race eventually needs to be taken out of the freaking conversation. I don't want her to be a judge because she's a black woman. I want her to be a judge because she's an American. And she's going to do everything humanly possible to assure that there is justice and equality and equity for all. Point blank, period. Go run and tell that. Go run and tell that. Thanks, guys. And SBD, Shardy, I hope you know I love you, girl. Okay? Know that.